Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back for another season of the BMW M2 CS Racing Cup. Sim, of course. We are in Sims. We're not jumping in BMWs. We'd love to have them outside. Aiden's got one, apparently. He's got one outside. Ready to go, Aiden. Come on. The Sancho paycheck has come out. And obviously, you've done so well in the GT Pro that they've got you a BMW.
If they have, I haven't been told about it. That would be pretty cool to just look out the window into the car park of my flat and just go, oh yeah, there's an M2 out there. That'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, it's great to be back for BMW M2 Sim CS Racing Cup. I hope I've got that right. I should have written it down, but here at the Cathedral of Speed, that is Monza, the brand new Monza circuit for rFactor 2. You can see it in the B-roll behind us. It looks absolutely glorious. So there's going to be a lot of high speed. It's going to be a lot of heavy braking. Hopefully we won't get any of the old T1 Monza memes going into the first chicane. But yeah, these are some of the fastest drivers in rFactor 2 taming this beast around this beautiful racetrack, and I can't wait to get going.
Yeah, the first corner definitely, or first chicane. Actually, the first two chicanes are probably going to be a bit tricky, but we'll see how this goes. Remember, this is an open competition as well, so it's not a championship that rolls on. It's an open competition that you guys can try and qualify for. For Monza, obviously you can't qualify for now, but the next track will be Sebring. 12th to 14th of August is the qualifications for that. As you can see, the race will happen on the 23rd of August, just before the GT Pro Series kicks off as well. It's going to be following the same tracks, so it will be an hour-long show right now as we lead up to that. And as you can see, as you mentioned already here at Monza, definitely a fantastic circuit. We'll see whether the 11 corners can offer anything for these drivers. As you see, the prize money remains the same as well once again for another season. 500 euros for first place, 250 euros for second, and 100 euros for third. And now, something I should also mention in there, obviously, along with the 15-minute private qualifying, then we go into the 20-minute race, of course, and all the drivers will be racing the same cars, just tweaking the setups to see if they can go any better, to see how it's going to work out. And let's not forget also the finals ticket that's out there as well, for what technically is for the winner. However, since the tickets are carried over from obviously the previous season as well, we already have some finalists already in there. Marcel Chinchik, Michael Schmiedel, and Yuri Toman, all the Vargas Sim Racing boys. And then, of course, the Roman Grosjean Esports of Jajowski, Risto Capit, and Philip Dreis, the finalist that got in there as well from NeedRacing.com. So, as you can see, 6 box open, ready for new drivers, Aiden. This is what we're going to see. This is what we're after. We're going to see who those new racers will be. We will have some returning names, but I'm hoping we're going to see some new cracking drivers.
Yeah, it's great to have this sort of, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory style golden ticket system as we see one of the Vargas and Mikael Schmiedel going around. So those 6 drivers that you just saw on the screen, if they were to finish, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as they appeared, 7th place would be the one who gets that golden ticket to the grand finale, as it were. So we see Mikael Schmiedel. He must be the first one out on track because he's gone purple in the first sector. Coming through the 2 Lesmos right now. Plenty of runoff available, which kicks up a little bit of the dust on the exit. Shouldn't do too much for him. And the thing about these BMWs is they can attack the curves a lot harder than, say, an open wheeler that will be coming here at the end of the Formula Challenge season, which is one of the other series we've got going here in rFactor 2. And just showcasing the beautiful work that they've put in. Full laser scan as well, so it's brand new. It's not millimeter perfect, otherwise your computer would be able to handle it, but it's as accurate as you can get in a consumer simulation. You can see Schmiedel just absolutely hammering those sleepy policemen on the inside there and using all the runoff as he runs down towards the famous Parabolica corner.
Yeah, they're not too bad through Ascari. Rogier's, we did just catch him as soon as we started. Rogier's where the big fat ones are, the big fat sleeping policemen, effectively just sausage curbs just lying there. So it's going to be where you really got to be careful about the cutting, as he just absolutely smashes it round the Parabolica and then over the line. As you say, purple's first one out, so we'll get to see how these guys can do in terms of qualifications. 2:03 the marker. Jajowski actually just ahead of him, it seems, setting that marker down. So a couple of names in there, as we say, a lot of people we would expect to see, but as we just pointed out, Jajowski in there, Schmiedl, these are already got winners. I'm assuming if that's Philip Dreiss, it could be Johannes, his stepbrother, in there, so we don't know. Cynic in there as well, Chiara, Giesler. So all these guys, with a real chance, but a lot of returning names. That's why I love to see Aiden. A lot of guys that have been racing throughout, obviously GT Pro, GT Challenge, and now also over in the Formula Pro.
Yeah, this is another one of the drivers that we've seen before. Johan Kurjan, driver virtual drivers by TX3. A team that I've had a lot of contact with over the last couple of weeks racing in Formula Challenge. They're a team that's doing very well, just sort of quietly getting on with things and really starting to move up in terms of rFactor 2 stuff.
Actual contact, like you hitting them in because you did well, man. You got 10th place.
Not actual contact. I've done pretty well. I haven't hit anything. The touring cars, on the other hand, that was a bit of a carnage fest. But Kurjan goes up into a provisional 14th position. Still 9.5 minutes left on the clock, so everybody's got enough laps to keep on going. And here we see Michael Schmiedl coming round again for Varga. He's fastest overall in the first sector, has a personal best in the middle sector, 3/10 off Erhan Jajowski. Erhan Jajowski, pretty much the benchmark in rFactor 2 tin top racing. So it's going to be a hard slog for Schmiedl, Dreiss, Cynic and co to really stick it to Jajowski and try and steal that €500 from him at the end of the race.
Yeah, not alien from one another. They've had a bit of contact in previous BMW races. So Schmiedl and Jajowski very much wide at the Parabolica. So he's just going to pull out of that one and go again. Ottaviani, a new name certainly that I don't know about, certainly in the BMW series at least, gets himself 4th place, looking very good there. Another purple sector for Lorenz Horsing here. Purple in the first, but much slower actually in the second, which puts him in 6th place. So losing time in that second sector. The second sector goes through Variante del Rogia up to just before the Ascari. So going through the Lesmos is where there seems to be, or certainly where Jajowski made a lot of time up, it seems.
Yeah, there's definitely places in this track where you can lose time, and because of the nature of it being so high speed and very much momentum based, it's pretty much the closest thing that we have in European road racing to an oval. So if you lose time at, say, this chicane that David Junt is going through now, hammering the sausage curb, getting a bit of a drift on the exit as pretty much the accepted way to drive these cars quickly, you're just going to lose so much time. It's going to add up towards the end of the lap.
What sort of traction do they run on this in terms of traction
they've probably turned it off.
Do you reckon they've got them complete off?
Yeah.
Go for the full slide.
Go for the full slide.
Give it the full drift.
If it's faster, they'll do it. They'll hunt for any extra little microsecond, these lads.
Don't try this at home, guys. You might end up spinning quite a lot. Kurjan, 18th. Oh, hello. Jajowski's riding the sausage curbs, I think, as we joined him there, and I think he's realised, yep, not the best of starts, so out he goes again. Schmiedl, we just catch and join him as he goes through Ascari. Meanwhile, Henry Cynic, a driver that's done certainly very well in the past, yet to pick himself up one of those tickets, though, running in 5th place at the moment in qualifying. That is a decent start for him. Certainly was something across the past. Every time we've covered Henry Cynic and co, we've always been sort of saying we expected him to qualify quicker. And as I say that, I'm seeing Silva and Paul Augustin Lana in like 10th and 11th. And these guys, again, if they get up there, they're going to challenge. But it's all about that qualification, getting that hot lap in. And you can see they're quite adrift at the moment. There's starting to get quite a hefty buffer down there. I think it's like a second between 1st and 15th right now. Here's Jajowski. Oh, God, he clatters that sausage.
That was almost something that you'd see the V8 supercars do on the Gold Coast as Henry Cynic just pulls up on the side of the track. This is quite private qualifying, so even though we can see all the cars on the track when our broadcast director Ruben Carrera-Alves flicks between the cars, we're on with Fabian Barlow right now, they actually don't see each other on the track, so there's no teams working together for slipstreaming. We don't see like absolute calamities like the what happened in the real open wheel race at Monza a couple of years ago, where they were just basically going around seeing who goes quick. Here's Filippo Caneo in a very nice BHK esports car. I like the blue on that. I'm quite partial to a bit of blue. And he's currently in 28th, so that's pretty much assuming that he's not actually set a time, but he's going to come across the line and go up into 16. So a good lap there.
Yeah, Diogo Silva. Unfortunately, I don't think he got into Pro, did he, this season? He was in the qualifications for it, but wasn't able to sneak his way through that qualification. As far as I'm aware, I may be wrong. I'm going to fact check now. It was Presley Martona that came through from GMX Phantom, wasn't it? So the orange cars. That's what I always look out for. The big orange cars. Remy Delorme here, looking to try and improve his time. The virtual drivers by TX3, as you were talking about earlier. Looks like he's running a little adrift at the moment of his own time. Has certainly improved in that second sector. See if the third sector's improved it for him, getting towards that top 20. Yes, he does, 18th. So gets himself 2 more places. Michael Schmidl, not just a little adrift in the second sector, but as you can see, he kind of made it up in the second sector, though. Certainly getting himself an improved time, and it does improve. It's still quite not enough, though. 0.2 seconds adrift from Han Yayovsky.
Yeah, the slipstream is going to be very, very powerful here. We saw all those races at the Nürburgring in Season 1. Going down the Dirtinga Ho, it was just a slipstream fest, just people swapping positions. It was pretty much the only place on the Nordschleife when we went there that any overtaking was done. So you can expect some slipstream action between sort of Parabolica that Florentine Joyo has just come out of across the start-finish line, and then heavy braking into turn 1 as Yovsky getting quite wide through the first of the 2 Lesmos. So he's carrying on with this lap, even if he is 1.9 seconds down on his personal best, but you can still use this as a bit of a run to just get used to things. Maybe he's put a bit more fuel in the car to get ready for the actual race and using it as a glorified warm-up session.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. He's feeling that pole position, or at least certainly front row of the grid, is pretty much locked in. Yeah, absolutely. You can see just how much slower it is now, and he's got that 20 minutes of fuel in there. Oh, Philip Dries goes quicker, it seems, up into second place now. So within a tenth of a second now onto Yovsky. Of course, Philip Dries also got himself that ticket, the final ticket of last season. Got himself in there. So at the moment, the current top 3 in the qualifying all have the tickets. So if it were to finish this way, Ottaviani would be the man that picks up the ticket. But look at Schmidl coming out quicker once again here, Aiden.
Yeah, the track's evolving. It's the real road in rFactor 2 gets laid down, so the track is going to be ever so slightly quicker, tiny bit more grip. So Michael Schmidl putting in one of his last YOLO laps here, trying to get some extra time on Yovsky up there and overhaul Schmidl as well. So it comes out of Parabolica, hugging the inside to try and take the shortest line possible to the start-finish line. Looks like Jimmy Allison's told them not to go over the white line on the start-finish straight to, take the mickey with holding that inside line. But he's improved, but he's not quite there. He's just 600ths there off Philip Dries in second place.
It does seem that the top 4 are certainly very tight. Diogo Silva, though, improving his time. He's gone faster, hasn't he? Into 5th now. Yayovsky feeling the pressure. Remember, as the qualifying time finishes, that is it. It's a straight, flat cut-off this time around in the BMW series here. No messing around. We don't sit and wait for them to finish. They need to get over the line. So if they haven't started their lap now, they are too late, unfortunately. So we'll see whether any of these drivers out there can improve their times. Nico Barkley goes to 8th. So an improved time for him. The man that's... hasn't he recently gone over to Zancho? Did he join you guys? Oh, no, it was Ferris Stanley I'm thinking of. Ferris Stanley.
Yeah, Ferris swapped from... HM to Zancho as Yovsky, fastest overall first sector, slightly down on the middle, but can he pull it back through the final sector, just giving it all the micro corrections possible in the Ascari chicane, which is going to be amazing to see the GTEs later on after this going through there as part of the main event in GT Pro. Coming up to Parabolica now is trying to spot the braking point, hits the brakes really hard, a bit of a wobble on the brakes, but nicely under control for the 2-time GT Pro champion. Comes through Parabolica for the final time. Nobody else is going to be able to start a lap because we're 2:02 for the fastest lap by Yovsky. It's not going to happen, and it is faster. It's a 2:02.8. He's taken another sort of tenth or so off that. Here comes Lucas Verla. he was actually fastest in the first sector, and it kind of went wrong for him over the second bit. But Jon Kershin, he's going to pop in his final lap, and now here comes Fabian Bell in 21st. What's he going to do? Is he going to improve? He's 1.5 down in the last sector, or middle sector, 7/10 down in the final sector, so that's not gone well. Sebastian Ree for Absolute Motorsport, so he's down in the middle sector, so this probably won't be a improvement either. Just taking the traditional line through there. He's going to start this race in 22nd with 10 seconds remaining in the session, and that's pretty much it. Anybody else? Well, nobody else is going to make it. Lawrence Herzing is definitely not going to make it because the clock has expired, and that's it. He is done.
So that is our time step. I think Kershin certainly improved himself up to 12th. Obviously, we saw him down at 20th last time we had a look at him, so certainly a great improvement for him. But it is going to be the man that has been here before, Erhan Yayovski, former GT Pro champion. Season 2, wasn't it? Season 1 and 2, wasn't it? Actually, I think maybe. Erhan Yayovski, both of those. Roman Grosjean Esports, of course, on the front there. Dries Schmiedel and Diogo Silva working his way up into 5th place. Mikko Gisela in 6th. Herzing in 7th. Henry Sinnick for Satellite down in 8th, so he got shuffled down a little bit there. Nico Barkley also in 9th place. Taco Time maybe. Lucas Verla, as we just saw, getting in 10th place. Chiara for Butler Power Motorsport down 11th, and Kershin, as you pointed out, up into 12th. Bulloga Solana up in 13th. Kutsak in 14th. Andre Tassetto down in 15th place, and Remy Delorme only managed 16th in the end. We saw him down in 21st, so he's improved his time. Mikko Blazek in 17th, Joye in 18th, Canio 19th, and Leopold Bryan from in 20th place. Further down the field, Fabian Ball, we just saw him going over the line, 21st for him. Sebastian Ree also 22nd, Zux in 23rd, and Alex Arvel down in 24th. Plenty of cars within this race, of course. Hans Hannes in 25th, Iliev down in 26th. David Junt down in 27th. I expected him to be higher there, that's for sure. And right at the back of the field is Adam Zagiva, apologies, from Arnish Competition. That runs out the field, and it is going to be straight on the line, so I will keep hold of this as we get things ready to go. Here we go. Erhan Yayovski at the front of the grid. Philip Dries alongside him. Schmiedel in there as well. Diogo Silva up into 4th already, as well as Otivani tries to get in there. But look at Yayovski really making sure that Schmiedel will not get past. You are not coming through. No chance there. I tell you, it's Philip Dries, and he's having to cut the corner there. Diogo Silva has made up ground, though. He's got himself up into 3rd ahead of Schmiedel.
Yeah, there was a penalty that just popped up in the top right-hand corner of the timing screen for Brian. He's actually got a penalty. He must have full started, but here's Alessandro Ottaviani coming through Curva Grande, following Michael Geisler and co up towards the second of the chicane. So, Erhan Yayovski getting very aggressive on the defending into turn 1. There's the obligatory little bit of a rear-end punt into one of the chicanes here at Monza, and now cutting back to Lorenz Herzing, who's trying to follow Geisler into the Lesmo, but everybody's being pretty much very well behaved, as there's a attempted move going into one of the Lesmos here. Is Kutsak gonna get it done? But it's just looking at this from behind now for Filippo Caneo. Lesmo 2, is that move from Kutsak going to get done? I don't know.
Oh, no, the 3 wide. This is looking incredible, but the 3 wide going into Ascari is not what you want to be, that's for sure, as they take it through under the bridge. There's also one tucked up beneath them as well. Can we actually get 4 in there? They're certainly trying, that's for sure. 3 wide as they approach Ascari. Hard on the brakes, down to 3rd, try and lock it up, and you can see it's getting a little squirrely for them, but they managed to hold it through. Rubbing his race, and that's what you love to see. Canio and Joye making it work, 17th and 18th, but some fantastic driving back there, and it looked pretty clean so far.
Yeah, Yayovski's managed to get about 0.8 of a second lead over Philip Dries in 2nd. You've got Diogo Silva up into 3rd. Schmiedel's dropped to 4th, so we'll probably have to get a replay of what happened there to see how Silva got in front. But this is where the slipstream is going to kick in, with Mikkel Schmiedel just ever so slightly in behind Diogo Silva. What's going to happen into turn 1? Is it going to be like what we see at the Nürburgring with the very tight turn 1 there? Mikkel Schmiedel has got the straight line speed. He's getting alongside Diogo Silva now. Where's the braking point for turn 1? It's probably going to be about here. Yep, you can see the front end of the car just dipping. Schmiedel pulls in front, and then he's just got the line into turns 1 and 2.
Very well done by Schmiedel there. Very well executed. And actually, I think Silva was so much on the brakes that it's brought Ottaviani into it, hasn't it? Right on his backside. Meanwhile, further back, I see them too wide down there. That would look like Nico Barkley. And Chiara actually making up ground as well. He's up into 8th place as well. So certainly working out as they balance themselves out around the Curva Grande, coming up in towards the Roggia. And this is where people are going to be looking for that braking point, seeing if they can maybe nip inside. And you can see they're going to have to dive in. Whirly, that's a bit of a send, I've got to be honest. Gets a little bit cautious in there. Actually bumps him onto the sausage curb there, but everybody gets through safe. You were talking about earlier that they can kind of ride that sausage curb. Luckily, these BMWs, if it was a single-seater, that would have been launched.
Well, I've actually seen a single-seater at Monza in another sim actually get stuck on the sausage curb there, so it can be done, but everybody seems to still be on the track. We've only had the penalty for Brian for jumping at the start of this race, so everybody's still in it. Nobody's ended up in the gravel. Nobody's in a wall. The only damage that's being done at the minute is probably a little bit of ego damage. And saying that, that's Roland Sooks getting almost... Oh, I spoke too soon. In the words of Lewis McGlade, that's an F out of 10.
That's definitely not a good move. Well, just as we... Oh, I'll tell you what. He kind of got sent straight into it. There's nothing he could do there.
Spain, but the S is silent.
I mean, the tyre even came off. It was that much of a spin and gamble and everything that went with it. Good Lord.
Crazy.
Well, luckily, the sim rig will keep him safe, and nobody gets injured here in sim racing. But certainly, in terms of the car in game, it took some damage. There's no doubt about it. Henry Shinnick and Nico Barkley, though, luckily it doesn't cost them, 20, 30,000 to get that repaired. They could just go back into the garage and be perfectly fine. But that is their race done, unfortunately. But look at this, the move coming through. Philip Dries holding off defensively on Schmiedel. Meanwhile, Diogo Silva has been done by Ottaviani. Oh my God, 3 wide into here. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. We see a car going backwards in front of them. Didn't see who it was. You can see that just off the side there. But luckily, I tell you what, he reversed and got out of the way.
Yeah, that's well played. Just get out of the way of the danger, then lock the brakes just to make sure you're out of the way. But still, yeah, we say that they were doing so well, and now it's all kicking off as they try to jostle for position. As we see them go into, whoa, there we go. That's like a dog doing its business up against a tree there with the leg up in the air as they come up to the Lesmos. So it's great racing. We've only had that one piece of absolute carnage, but still plenty of entertainment for the folks at home tonight.
Yeah, we knew there'd be a little bit of contact, but it's not been too bad so far, at least. And at the moment, Yayovsky is running away with this. In terms of the ticket prize, the winner, we're looking at 4th place, Ottaviani at the moment. Here we go. Look at that for a send coming through there. Yeah, and it was Herzing. Herzing was running in around about 5th or 6th, wasn't he?
Oof, almost got clattered by the tail end of that one car, just kicking out. Still keeping it super close, but the Palm Motorsport car right at the front of this little queue. Geisler, Barkley and co. This is the battle for 6th place. Paul August Lana has picked up a pen for, I'm assuming, track cuts and track limits. Yeah, I assume that's where that's come from. And once again, Chiara putting moves in at the moment. Mikhail Gietzler alongside him, looking to go for the switchback, and that's very wide and very slidey, full drift mode coming out of Chiara, and that will lose him that place. Nicely done by Geisler. Philip Dries, meanwhile, looking to keep Schmiedel at bay once again. He went for the same defensive inside line last time, and you can see he's trying to make it elbows out as wide as he can. He rides that sausage curb, but Dries will hold position. Oh, I think that's Nico Barkley. That looks like taco time up behind him. Yes, it is. You can tell that paintwork, that for sure. But Chiara regains the position on Geisler, takes him back, just lost the Parabolica, but gets it right back in there, Retafilo. So far, Chiara, though, certainly doing well. I think he started down in around about 9th position as well. So looking to improve with, obviously, other cars
being sent packing and various incidents that have happened. It's looking very clean, though, as they all, as you mentioned, cock the leg effectively as they ride the sausage curb. Back in the front, too, though. Here we go again. Dries and Schmiedel all over the back of Dries. And, well, if history were to repeat itself, this can only end messy. I'm hoping that Schmiedel has maybe learnt his lessons. He's going to be in the GT Pro later on as well. I tell a lie, he's not actually. I don't think Schmiedel's in the GT Pro. Chose to back out of that one, but it is going to be once again side by side. No, Dries shuts the door going into Ascari.
Yeah, great racing between the two of them into Ascari. Dries and Schmiedel looking for the money that's on the line for the podium places. Nico Barkley coming to Parabolic. You can just see Zbigniew Szara up there in the Butler Power Motorsport car, just drifting a tiny bit wide. He'll probably get a track limit cut for that, but one of the wheels was on the white line, so he should be in the clear for that, as Dries and Schmiedel now at Parabolica. Schmiedel probably trying to set himself up for another run into the first chicane.
Yeah, just hanging it round there. No chance to switch back. Dries having to be very defensive, though, and this is costing him time, of course. You can see Yayovsky, he has gone 3 seconds ahead of this two racing pack, and in terms of what's behind them, well, they are just a race amongst themselves at the moment. This time around, oh, so close, and once again, Dries is going to have to get his elbows out. Has he got enough in front this time, Schmiedel? It looks like he may well have got enough of a car there, and he has. Dries has to give it up, and Schmiedel makes his way up into second place.
Yeah, cut across the nose of him into the first chicane. Might have to have another look at that, because you might think, oh, moving in the braking zone, that's a bit naughty. But Geisler getting in front of Szara with a bit of door banging, and now Nico Barkley is going to try and take that position as well. They get very close going into the Curva Grande. Barkley cuts across the nose of Szara anymore. He's going to end up in a wall, and that's another penalty that's been given out, presumably for track limits.
Yeah, but Barkley really getting the toe. Szara certainly in close, but this looks like it's going to carry on into Rogia. Is he going to be alongside Barkley? No, he does give it up, realizes he can't be really going side by side. He's going to lose too much time in there as they all once again clip that big sausage curve. But look at this. Blazek has been brought in behind them.
It's a train going through Kursion. Also, Baltier now. That Geisler going off the road.
Yeah,
now
massive
he's
error.
Absolutely swamped, a bit of contact. And now the taco car goes up the inside. And what's going to happen behind that as well, because there's other cars are wanting a sniff of this.
It's getting a little messy, isn't it? There's a massive gap as well. You couldn't get much of a closer drag there, Nico. I think he wants to try and work it out, but he's going into Ascari, looking like it's going to be Geisler. I think there's having a little peeker up the side there. Tell a lie, it's Blazek, I think. Blazek having a little peek towards Nico Barkley. Nico Barkley has to go defensive as they go through the Ascari and manage to hold on as well. So a massive mistake from Geisler, losing him 3 places down to 9th position, and it all went wrong here in the Lesmo.
Yeah, just got pushed out wide onto the gravel, managed to keep it all under control, and then just lost the positions at the start. And now it's all kicking off again as they try to do some tandem drifting through Parabolica. You'd think that that blue car at the front is going to try and get the Butler Pal down the straight, because that exit is going to be super compromised.
I tell you what, Blazek is going to be loving this. He's gone from 9th up into 7th, potentially 6th right now as he sees his chance going into the Rettifilo. He's going to have to be hot on the brakes. So Szara's been the man that's been defending on the inside a couple of times. Nico Barkley's having a little look in the middle. And I tell you what, that's going to buy Geisler the chance, because Szara's got to be careful of Nico Barkley. Nico Barkley comes through. Oh, they just get a little bouncy, but they keep it clean through Rettifilo. Very impressive stuff from these drivers.
Yeah, making sure they didn't end up in a wall, trying to get everything done. Schmiedel and Dries still going at it into the second chicane. Curb hopping their way through, but it looks like at this point Schmiedel has got enough in hand, probably about half a second to Schmiedel in behind.
Meanwhile, Yayovsky 4 seconds clear up the front. These two, Schmiedel and Dries, they've got themselves a healthy 5-second gap. Diogo Silva and Ottaviano also having that little race between themselves in 4th and 5th. We haven't seen too much of that. You can see them behind there. Oh, and that's Diogo Silva going a little bit wide, actually, by the looks of it. Also, but that's going to bring them in. And then further adrift from that, of course, you're down to Blazek, Szara, Barkley, and Geisler, the race we were seeing earlier on. It does look like, actually, Ottaviani is having a go at Silva further back.
Battling is always good. Schmiedel now looks like he's got that gap done. Here's Barkley chasing Geisler up into Ascari. Just trying to hit the apexes nice and clean. They can use those sausage curves on the inside here because the car can handle it. Use all the runoff and those sawtooths on the exit, and then just try and close in the slipstream. Maybe slipstream each other to try and build a gap to those behind, but it looks like Jovski has got this in the bag with 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. 4 seconds to the good over Mikkel Schmiedel.
And the Parabolica. Here's the pack of 4, and once again they're looking up the inside. Shara's being forced wide, and that's going to buy time for taco time. Nico Barkley through the inside, and now Blazek also under pressure has got himself that position, and Nico Barkley gets it done. Very nicely worked out. And I tell you what, I don't know what setting Shara's running, but that's a couple of times we've seen him drifting wide in the Parabolica. Now Diogo Silva and Ottaviani 4th and 5th. Silva goes wide, forced wide. Ottaviani takes the place.
And more contact between Blazek and Barkley into turn 1. Shara's are there. And, oh! Ouch. That's suboptimal. As that he's going to need one of those robot war style self-righting mechanisms for that. They just it's left-hand drive, isn't it? You can't get to the driver's side door.
Flip the door open.
Flip the door open. So that's that car's. I think that car's had it for tonight. There's Barkley and Cynic now.
They're 3 wide. There's another one to the right-hand side. I think Geisler's in there as well. And Cynic is looking to gain himself 3 places as they get in there to Ascari. Henry Cynic absolutely sends it. Sees what's been laid out in front of him. Very nice move from him. And while this is all happening, Shara regained that 6th place as well.
I think Ruben's going to be busy with replays for that one because that was great. Nice and respectful going into the second chicane. No aggressive moves. Just keeping it nice and, well, I say clean. There was a bit of rubbing, but, rubbing is racing to an extent. You can't just use it as an excuse for dodgy driving standards. This is Big Dev Shara and Henry Ciggy. Is Cynic going to try around the outside into Ascari in a car like this?
I tell you what, he's got it. He's got it.
Shara let him go.
Got it done.
Wasn't
flat
worth risking
out down
it,
the
but
straight,
still.
yeah. Very clean stuff there. And also further back, obviously Nico Barkley.
What a cutback.
Nico Barkley had the problems, and Remy Delorme just behind them, just taking over. Oh, two cars just went flying off the track at the back of Ascari there, and that is a car on its roof.
Yeah, we need to get some Fs in chat for that one. That was huge. If we can get a replay of that one, please, Ruben. As Ruben's just mashing the R-key, but that car looks like it's still... there's a wheel. There's a wheel just off in the distance, so... This is the move, Geisler and co. That put that one BMW on its side. You can just see it in the rearview mirror.
I can't really tell whether that was Nico Barkley spearing him or whether he simply turned into Nico Barkley there. I mean, you've got to give space when you're side by side going into the first corner. Meanwhile, a bit of bargey. That's Nico Barkley gone.
Naughty.
See ya. There he goes. That's not going to happen. That was Geisler. I think he was alongside there. I'm not too sure, but Henry Cynic now. Chase on the back of Chiara. This is still down in 6th and 7th, isn't it, this battle? Yeah.
I hope Jimmy's watching this. Oh, dear.
I mean,
Monza Gunner Monza in sim racing. At least Diogo Silva and Alessandro Ottaviani going nice and clean. But, we were talking about how that 3 wide stuff was going well. But then we saw Nico Barkley embedded in a wall. So take back everything I said there.
Yeah, Ottaviani once again having another go at Diogo Silva. These have been back and forward, trading 4th place consistently through the race, but with just 4 minutes to go, there's the penalty applied to Nico Barkley. We were kind of expecting that one to come through. These are actually racing for what is effectively the ticket. This is the race. This is the real race. Diogo Silva and Ottaviani, because Jajovski, Schmiedel and Dries, all former winners from last season, all have that ticket for the race off, and of course this is going to be really where they're looking towards. This is literally first place. I mean, yes, they're not going to get the prize money, obviously that's going to go to 1, 2, 3, but the ticket is where it's at.
Shara's dropping down the order. You can see that gaggle of cars in behind. They're still fighting, but Diogo Silva, the GTC Race Centre, and Alessandro Ottaviani for Virtual Drivers by TX3 racing cleanly. I think they know the situation they're in, and they don't want to end up getting involved in something silly with only a few minutes there. That's not good.
So at the moment, Diogo Silva and Ottaviani. This is Joye. This was back at Ascari, wasn't it, when he got sent packing? Off he goes. So lots of action. 3 minutes to go. Once again, as they go into Retafilo, and it's shutting the door. Talk about getting your elbows out. Ottaviani regains 4th place over Diogo Silva with just 3 minutes to go. That equates to roughly 2 laps. Depending on where Yayovsky is, I'm pretty sure he's well ahead of these guys. Meanwhile, back in this pack, this is where the action's really hotting up. Henry Cynic has got it done. What happened to Chiara, ladies and gentlemen? Where the heck has he gone?
There was a car in the escape road, so I'm wondering if that was somebody. We'll have to see that one. We only just saw that it's a white car off in the little escape road. You have to chicane through the polystyrene blocks to get back on track. But Cynic getting defensive into the chicane with Michael Geisler up in behind him. Everybody, and there's Cynic getting a penalty. So that will be track limits. As penalties for like driving standards are applied after the race, so assume every penalty is because of the automatic track detection that happens in rFactor 2. And this is speaking of Shara, he's had enough by the looks of things, or he's blown the engine on the downshifts, or even more embarrassingly, he might run out of fuel.
No, surely not. Surely not. We're not giving that. I think he just definitely ended something wrong there. Either way, Henry Cynic under pressure from Michael Geisler. Meanwhile, oh, here we go. This is Remy Delorme getting re-overtaken by Nico Barkley. Nico Barkley does have a penalty, if I'm not mistaken, in there as well. So that position probably won't mean too much by the end of the race. In terms of leaders, well, Erhan Yayovsky, 1 minute 22 to go. Almost certainly has gone over the line, so we're going to be having another lap after this one. And Otto Viani still holding that important 4th position, along with Diogo Silva. That was a tap, and off you go. Did see who it was. I think it was Verla. Was that Verla? No, it wasn't. It was... I didn't even see who it was. But anyway, Diogo Silva trying to get it done. That's Barkley. That's Barkley done. He's gone and out. And Diogo Silva has kind of got it done. He's on the outside of Curva Grande, though. So it looks like they're going to be side by side. By the time they reach the Del Roggia, he's definitely going to be the slower on the outside. But I tell you what, he's forcing as much of the track as he can here. But going into Del Roggia, this is going to be very tricky. It is definitely some heavy curbs, but I tell you what, Diogo Silva knows it's now or never, gets through, gets his arms out and gets it done.
Yeah, that was a great move, and I think he's going to have to get super defensive into Ascari. Ascari's going to be at the corner where he has to be at least alongside to get the move done, but that's... What the...
It looked like he was going in to serve his penalty. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
but either way, he definitely brake checked Remy Delorme there. There's no doubt about it.
That's just the oddest thing I've ever seen in ever. That's just mad. This is a replay. So Barkley's coming into the pit lane. Ooh. Okay, so Yovsky's just coming through the... Yeah, we'll probably have to have another look at that at the end of the race as Yovsky comes through the final corner to pick up his paycheck for absolutely commanding this race. Schmiedel will be second, Drace in third. Silva looks like he might just be holding on if he's managed to keep Ottaviani behind him through into Parabolica. They're just coming up to Parabolica about now. Here we go. That's Lucas Berg and Michael Geisler.
I tell you what, Schmiedel gained some time there, certainly over Yayovsky. He was, once he finally got past Dryson, got that done. But yeah, Silva and Ottaviani, looks like Silva will be 4th place, so he will gain himself that ticket for the finale. Meanwhile, Michael Geisler and Lucas Verle started down in 12th position, if I remember rightly. And this is looking like he might get it done on the line. No, Canio couldn't get it done. Verle holds on to that 6th place, as well as... Remy Delorme. We'll see what's going to happen with that one, obviously in 8th place as I would say he punted Nico Barkley off, but Nico Barkley clearly brake checked him, so I don't really know what happened there. But either way, your champion once again here in the BMW Sim M2 CS Racing Cup is Erhan Yayovsky, followed by Schmiedel and Philip Dries. That rolls out the winning money, but the important ticket is Diogo Silva's, and we'll be seeing him in the finals.
Yeah, congratulations to Diogo Silva for that one. Ottaviani in 5th, Verla 6th, Geisler 7th, Delorme 8th, Caneo 9th, and Barley in 10th as Yovsky does his in-lap. Not going to be seeing Erhan Yovski in GT Pro, unfortunately, but here is Remy Delorme.
Brakes.
Yeah, that's naughty.
Now, was that because he wanted to come in the pits and there was a car sat there?
Unless he was braking to avoid rear-ending the car in front, but if we go with he was avoiding the car in front, that's naughty. He should be banned. Well, we've covered all of the
covered all the bases.
Covered all the bases, and then we can just cut and chop as necessary.
So, final confirmation for the top 10. Erhan Yovski in first place, Schmiedl second for Varga Sim Racing, Philip Dreiss, NeedRacing.com in third place, Diogo Silva from GT Race Centre in fourth, Alessandro Ottaviani for Virtual Drivers by TX3 in fifth place, Lucas Verla for Verla in sixth place, Michael Geisler, also NeedRacing.com in seventh, Remy Delorme from TX3 in eighth, Philip Canio in the end getting himself that ninth place, holding on for BHK Esports, and Fabian Baal ending up in 10th place, who I believe started in around 21st, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to double check that one. Virtual Races by TX3. So congratulations to the top 10. The top 3 will be walking away with the prize money, and Diogo Silva will be walking away with that finals position and joining the other 6 racers that qualified beforehand.
Yeah, still plenty of races to go. This series is basically the support race for GT Pro, which will be coming up after this, so don't go anywhere after this, or just leave the stream running, go and grab yourself a drink and some snackage and then come back. It's going to be absolutely brilliant for GT Pro. As you can see, the DNFs there, including Mika Barclays, Vicky Shara and Paul August Lana. So we're moving on into the first round of GT Pro. Like I say, this is the support series for GT Pro, so every other week we have the MWs at the same track as the GT Pros will be racing that, and that's just going to go through all the season until the end, and then we'll have 12 people winning tickets to go to the grand finale.
And if you missed the draft, well, you get to see exactly who's in what car in just a few moments. The GTEs will be on the track here at Monza. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in about 2 minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GT Pro Season 4, Round 1. Here we go. It is at Monza, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again, and with a difference, Aiden. With a difference. We are coming in the GTEs this time around, not the GT3s, the GTEs.
Yeah, the GTEs, which have got a bit more downforce, a little bit more power, better top speed, better grip. But more importantly, they have no ABS on them, so the drivers are going to have to actually modulate their brakes, and they're just a bit more of a handful to drive. So it's actually GT Challenge will still keep the GT3s on Friday afternoon or Friday evening, and then the GT Pros will drive the faster cars. So it acts like a proper feeder series, as it were. So we're going to be seeing some new marks of car. We're going to be seeing things like the brand new C8 Corvette. We're going to be seeing the Ferrari 488. We're going to be seeing the BMW Big Boy M8 as well. So we're going to have actually we've got all brands available in GTE for rFactor 2 represented. So we're going to have some nice colourful liveries, some beautiful looking cars, and hopefully as well off the back of that M2 race, some great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was clean for the first lap, at least. Let's hope we have the same. As you can see, this is where the schedule lays out. The calendar is all locked in, and of course so is all the drivers. They have themselves, if you missed the draft show, the cars are picked, but we're starting out here at Monza, going over to Sebring, Lime Rock Park, Loch Drummond, then over to Spa, and rounding out the championship at Indianapolis once again on the 18th of October. Lots of action to be had, and once again we'll be seeing who we can crown the champion of the GT Pro Series. Former winners, of course, Hanya Yovsky, Jan van der Heide, of course, in Season 3 as well. But, Aiden, things have changed. Of course, they're sticking with the 15-minute private qualifying. Then we go into the 15-minute sprint race. And, of course, followed by the 45-minute race with the top 10 reversed. But it's the top 10 reversed based on the qualifying position, not their positions from the sprint race, which is a big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference compared to last season. And just to add, at the bottom, that bottom line, the cars have been fitted with smaller fuel tanks compared to what comes stock in rFactor 2. So they will have to stop at some point during the main race. They can't just whack it on safety car mode and cruise and fuel save as much as they can. I mean, they can fuel save, but it's just going to be a lost cause. So they'll have to decide whether they're going to take a shorter fuel at the start of the race, maybe a shorter fuel at the end, or just go 50-50 like they have been doing in say Formula Challenge and things like that. So the tank can't last 45 minutes. They have got to do it whatever happens, and that's going to add in some strategy. They probably won't take tyres because that takes too long, and the tyres last forever on GTEs anyway. So they're just going to have to figure out how to do it, and it's going to add a new element of strategy to the racing instead of just trying to fire your way to the front of the field over the course of the 45 minutes.
And as you pointed out, all 6 cars will be used as well throughout there, so we're going to have them. Here is the round by round prize money. So obviously we're getting places, positions, obviously, so even if you're having a bit of an off or an accident, you still got to regain those positions and try and get as much prize money as you can. And of course, €3,000 going to that first place championship winner, 1,500 for second and 500 for third. So lots of money to be had. Every single round you will be gaining the cash, and that's what obviously these guys are looking for, along with, of course, the title, the pride to be the GT Pro champion. It carries a lot of weight these days, Aidan. There's obviously we are here in Season 4. It has built up stronger and stronger. The competition keeps on growing, and as you can see, here are the cars. Now, if you missed the draft show, obviously it was down to everybody picking, and I believe it was by the 6th choice is when the weight got added, which is why you're seeing weight on Ferris Stanley, Arne Schoenfleet. I messed his name up all Season 2 as well. Sorry, Arne. And Jan van der Heide. They're the only cars, along with, of course, Ibrahim Khan. Only Astons have the weight. Nobody else. Everybody else had that free pick. They could have chosen cars without weight, but they chose to go with the Aston.
Yeah, the Rocket cars and the Zancho cars part of the same family, so they're all working together. So they've all picked the same car, so they've all got the same data, and they can all drive it. We're actually live now on the qualifying. 7.5 minutes to go, just in 7.5 minutes goes Louis Philippe Capamajan in the massive meme-worthy BMW M8. Messes up the first chicane, so he'll have to have another crack. There he goes, out he goes. David Rocek with Burst Esports here in the C7 Corvette. That black, gold and white livery always looking good on whatever car it's put on. I do like the old Burst Esports livery. He's currently fastest overall in Sector 1, coming up to the end of Sector 2 here, just before Ascari. What's that? What colour's that going to be? It's green, so that's his personal best in Sector 2, so not the overall best, but still he's 0.2 off the fastest time that's been set in that middle sector, coming up the back stretch towards the Parabolica corner, where the cars are going to have to get a decent launch out. They still have the traction control, but no ABS, as we discussed at the start of the show. Get hardish on the brakes into Parabolica, try and stuff that curve, because it's almost like a gutter on the inside, and then maximise the exit up towards the start-finish line, or the timing line, I should say, because it's quite far back on the grid. It's just there past the Hoisingveld Bridge, and he goes up into 4th.
Decent time for David Rocek. Certainly did very well throughout the Challenger as well. Finds himself here in the GT Pro. Great to see them putting the times in. Speaking of drivers that have also been promoted as well, obviously I'm seeing Marcel Cincic and Yuri Toman, both Vargas Sim Racing drivers, up in the top 3 right now. Dennis Jordan, 2nd, I believe, last season in the championship. Speaking of Burst Esports as well, Michi Hoyer and alongside him, Yuni Simicic, they're both in the Ferraris, as opposed to Rocek, who chose to go in that Corvette C7R. So often we'll see teams sticking with the same cars, as we were pointing out earlier with the Zancho boys, throughout everybody in those Astons. So we'll see who benefits in what crate. Of course, this is always the thing, right? We're going across multiple tracks. Some cars will be better on some tracks. It's a fact.
Yeah, it's you can't have BOP to be perfect so that every car sits exactly the same lap time. So some cars will be stronger here, some cars will be stronger there. You know, the general consensus is that the Aston Martin was probably going to be pretty bad, but yeah, Marcel Cincic, who I believe in an Aston, is currently on provisional pole.
Yeah, who's that? It's Rista. Is that, no, it's not Yuri Castor. It's who is that in 2nd?
Risto Capit.
It is Risto Capit.
Yeah.
Risto Capit. Yeah, I was looking across him like, it's Risto Capit, and I can't see him. I can't see him on my sheet. Where is he? Oh, you know why? I'm looking at Red Bull. Ha! Ha! He's in Roman Grosjean, of course. That's why I can't see him. I was like, I see Yuri Castor, I see Dennis Jordan, I see Alex Siebel. What is going on here? That's because he's not a Red Bull late. Good thinking there. Good thinking. Times are tumbling though. Let's talk about that, because obviously qualifying has only got 5 minutes left, which equates to around about 2 more laps left for these guys to try and put in those obviously warm-ups and then get that hot lap out there. So it's really now or never. People are going to have to start getting out there. Yuni Simicic, a veteran of the GT Pro Series, along with many other series that he races in here for Burst Esports, currently sitting down in 18th position. See if he can improve his time. It's looking like he will, up into the top 10. 9th place for him.
Yeah, good luck for Yerne, doing well across all the top level rFactor 2 series. Did pretty well in the VEC last season. Ooh, that is a cracking lap from Nikita Wisniewski, sticking that car on provisional pole, just 0.026 from Cincic there.
I did just notice as he went over the line, he lost his purple in Sector 1, so somebody out there is going quick as well. Matt Richards, the GT Challenge champion, representing Rocket Simsport here, and certainly did very well. Gets himself up into 11th, his first outing in the GT Pro, Matt Richards, so good luck to him. Meanwhile, Nuno Pinto of Team Ford Zillenau in the Porsche 911. Starting out currently in 12th place on the board, 0.473 adrift of that new provisional pole position by Nikita Wisniewski. Looking like he's improving as well here, actually. This is definitely got a bit quicker, looking at a potential top 10 place.
Yeah, that Porsche sounds great as well, as we're on board with Pinto coming up towards Parabolica, so he's only got one little braking zone left to do. Brakes just past the little gantry that flashes green, yellow and other colours depending on what's going on. A bit squirrely coming out Parabolica, but he's managed to get a launch out on the inside, and I think the been told not to cut that white line as well, and he's abandoning the lap.
Pulling out Kevin Ciggy, Team Redline, representing the BMWs, of course, as you mentioned, there's huge M8. So there it is, Jakub Brzezinski. It's actually the Williams teammate. He ends up going 6th. I could see someone who went purple in that first sector, but ends up, looks like he lost a lot of time in the 3rd sector there. Kevin Ciggy, meanwhile, improving his personal best, currently sitting in 7th place. If he keeps this up, he's knocked off, 0.1, hasn't he? So looking to potentially get himself into that top 5. It's going to be a big ass, though. Dan Rocek there at the moment as he fights with the wheel around that parabolica.
Yeah, that's suboptimal.
He's lost the fight.
Yeah, and back to Risto Capit, and you can see purple. So he's challenging Nikodem Wisniewski for that pole position. But as we saw in the BMW M2 sim race just before this, slipstream is pretty good around here. So just because you're on pole doesn't mean you've got it. It's not a guarantee. You've still got to fight the guys behind you, and that last sector wasn't particularly good. So no pole position for Risto Capit on this occasion. Here comes Louis Philippe Capamachan for HM Engineering, and that BMW looking very similar to the red line M8. So that's going to get confusing pretty quickly. Luca Di Maglio for BHK Esports, turning in ex-HM Engineering driver, getting the power down. I think that's also the BMW M8. So there's a few BMWs. I'm sure Kevin Ciggy's happy to not have 40 kilos worth of ballast on that car this season. And he takes 22nd position on the grid.
Yeah, Ibrahim Khan currently running in 8th place. That very fetching Rocket Team Sport livery out there. Certainly doesn't look like he's going to improve his time now, so he remains still 8th place. Kevin Sciarra, we just saw him in the BMW Sim M2 race, and now here he is in the Porsche. And for Butler Pal, only gets himself in 27th though. Yuni Simičić, purple in 2nd sector, but only ever so slightly as he comes on around the parabolica. See if he can improve his time. He pulled out last time, didn't he? This time it's looking much better. 9th already, seeing if he can get into that top 5.
Yeah, what's he going to do? Oh, it's a slower sector 3. 7th position for the Slovenian, Timotej Andonovski in the Ferrari for Nita Velox. He's having a personal best first sector, a 10th off the best overall. Just crossing under the famous oval up towards Ascari. Triggers the second timing beam. That's sector 2. That's also a personal best. And then Marcel Cinčić is coming across the line and abandoned that one.
He's missed it. He's missed it, didn't he?
Oh, it's a checker flag. Okay.
Yeah, he missed it. It wasn't quick enough. So it is going to be, at the moment, I think Brzezinski's out there. Not too many more to improve their times. Antonovsky's out there. Hoyer's well wide at the parabolica, so I don't think he's going to be improving his time. He's going to pull off. Antonovsky looks like he might be able to hold it. It does seem, by the way, I have noticed some are really fighting it around the parabolica, and some are losing time. It's interesting to see who's going to be better. Jakub Brzezinski, now he went purple in the first 2 sectors last time out and lost all the time in the 3rd. This time out, though, losing a bit of time in the 2nd sector as he races through Ascari, just about holding as much as he can there without going completely off track limits.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something magical to pull that time back, a 10th down. Like we said in the BMW, it's very much momentum-based, this track. So if you do lose time, you're going to have a hard time getting it back because there's not really many real corners at this track as he swings it wide through parabolica to maximise the speed and then cuts back to the inside to take the shorter run to the start-finish line, triggers the timing beam, and that's 6th place for the pole.
And again, it does seem that the Corvette may be losing time around the parabolica. Obviously, what's Wisniewski? He's in a Porsche, isn't he? He's in the Porsche 911 on the pole. Looks like that's where it's going to stay. Having a quick replay. What's this? This is Michio Hoyer losing it around the parabolica. So just losing that back end in the Ferrari.
Yeah, just abandons the lap, pulls into the pits. Might as well practice pit lane entry. You're going to need to pull into the pits at some point. And then pulls it back into his box, and that's qualifying done with. So we'll have the timings up on the screen. We'll give you your rundown for the first race, a 50-minute sprint race around the Cathedral of Speed that is Monza. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do in these cars as well, to see what Jan van der Heijden in that 20-kilo Rocket Simsport car can pull off while lugging around all of that weight.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out It's going to be a very interesting one. And of course, we're hoping for some clean racing here in the first race of season 4 here in the GT Pro at Monza. We all know what I'm talking about. It gets a little sticky as you go into the Variantes del Rettifilo and Rogia. They're both very tricky corners. But here's the first qualification. And remember, these positions will carry through as well into the race. So reverse. So it means Wisniewski will be starting 10th place in the main race. But here he is on the podium, on the pole position, I should say, with Shinchik for Varga Sim Racing alongside him. Risto Capit from Roman Grosjean Esports. Yuri Tomin in 4th for Varga Sim Racing. Rocek and Burst Esports in 5th. Brzezinski in 6th, couldn't improve his time. Yuri Simic down in 7th place for Burst Esports in that Ferrari. Kevin Ciggy for the BMW down in 8th place. For Team Redline, Ibrahim Khan for Rocket Sim Sport in 9th in the Aston, and Presley Martono, newly promoted also in the GMX Phantom, finds himself in 10th. So I'll tell you what, the GT Challenge boys are doing very well here moving into the GT Pro in terms of qualification. Speaking of, Matt Richards for Rocket Sim Sport in 11th, the champion from the GT Challenge. Nuno Pinto in 12th for Team Fordzilla. Dennis Jordan, 2nd place last year in the championship for Red Bull Racing. He is in 13th. Peo Pev for 14th for the Butler Pal in the Porsche once again. He's always in the Porsche. Yuri Castor for Red Bull in 15th. Mitchell Hoyer down in 16th for Burst Esports. Yoris Viers for Jean Lacey Esports in 17th. Luis Filippo Capomantian for HM Engineering, the only representative now in 18th position. Peter Briliak down in 19th for Williams Esports, and Casper Stoltz down in 20th for Jean Lacey Esports. That's your top 20, but I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. There is more. There is more. It is going to be a very busy grid, no doubt about it. Andonovsky down in 21st place. 22nd is Cito Vaya, newly promoted as well for Zancho there. Luca D'Amelio in 23rd for BHK Esports by TX3. Alex Siebel also in 24th for Red Bull. Arnie Schumflet and Ferris Stanley, both the Zancho boys, in 25th and 26th, not finding the best out of their Astons there. Meanwhile, Chiara for Butler Pal down in 27th. Jan von der Heide, the current reigning GT Pro champion, down in 28th, well adrift at the moment, carrying obviously that weight as well in the Aston in 28th position, and Jonas Rovio in 29th position, rounding out the grid.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the difference between some of these drivers, because some of the drivers were saying, I don't like this car's going to be super slow, and then you see the same model of car right up at the top. So some drivers maybe not getting along with the setup just yet before they get going, and the drivers just gridding up. You can see them in the background there as we look up the... I wonder what that thing says on the back of that plane. That'll be cool to read. As we get the formation lap underway, rolling start, as is often the case in GTs. And hopefully we don't see any turn 1 memeage.
Well, certainly not on the formation lap.
I know,
that would be memeage.
That would be something else if it did happen. But they're going to go 2x2. I'm assuming they can go like a zip into the chicanes where it's a bit tight, as long as they get back 2x2. And you've got Nikodem Wisniewski in the Porsche, leading them round to start the first race of a brand new season.
Pace. It seems he wasn't hanging around there. So now we're into the sprint race. This is the 15-minute race, as I mentioned. The top 10 from the qualifying will reverse going into the main race. So the positions they get in the sprint race do not reverse. They will stay as is. It was simply a case of do as best you damn can, get your points, and go into the main race.
Yeah, so Presley Martono there for JMX Phantom, and Ibrahim Khan will make up the front row for the feature race, where they do have to make a pit stop, which is something they've done there. And you've got Dennis Jordan for Red Bull, and Peo Pev for Butler Pal in 13th and 14th. Yuri Kasdorp. So mid-grid for the C8, first time out. Interesting to see what they can do with the car over the rest of the season. Jordis Viers for Jacer in 17th in that Porsche. Luis Philippe Capamajan in the BMW for HM Engineering. He's at 18th. Petr Burliak, you'd expect him to be a bit higher. And Timotej Andonovsky for Cetres Nita Velux in 21st, followed by Cito Vaya, who's got the Frisian flag on that rear wing end plate, which is a cool little nod to where he's from. Going a bit further back, Arne Schonfleet there with the Belgian flag on his car. Ferris Stanley with the Indonesian flag on his, so it's just like a nationality thing. There's a big of Ciara in the Porsche in 27th, and von der Heide and Ravio bringing up the rear.
So the 3 cars carrying the 20 kilograms down in 25th, 26th, and 28th there, I think it was. Ibrahim Khan obviously carrying 10 kilograms as well. He's much further up the grid. So it does seem that the 20 kilogram weight has certainly cost them this time around. Of course, there were other options available to them, but they chose to go in that way. But here we go. As we go off the back of the circuit, they've just gone through the Ascari as obviously tries to Brzezinski, sorry, just tries to warm his tyres in that Porsche. Very interesting to see the Porsche being the leading car. Obviously, there's always been debate about who's going to be better. Well, it seems we have a nice mix here, Aiden.
Yeah, it's always good to see all the brands represented. We only had one brand not represented last season. That was the Mercedes. So we had the Radicals providing a bit of entertainment, the out of favour Radicals. But I'm sure Risto Kappa is happy to be at the pointy end of the grid again as they come through Parabolica. And then that pit lane speed limiter will go off when Wisniewski decides to take it off. And he will be committed and we will be racing.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first race of the season of the GT Pro Season 4 is underway at Monza. And it's Marcel Czincik that immediately hits the gas just before they got to the line. He was just about let Wisniewski get through there, but he's been, oh no, that's going to be an absolute catastrophe. That is not what we wanted to see on the very first race of the GT Pro. What a disaster, 4 wide. And I mean, it was Czincik that ended up going sideways across the entire grid. And what an absolute nightmare of a start.
Oh my goodness. I can't laugh. I did exactly the same thing at Brands Hatch last week, but it's that's certainly different. Yuri Toman is now your leader. Jonas Rovio second, Kevin Ciggy third, Prezi Martano in fourth, and it's kicking off again behind us as we can see dust and all sorts going on. Risto Cabot down in 21st position. Matt Richards up into 8th. Ibrahim Khan's dropped to 13th. Matt Richards actually saying he absolutely hates driving GTEs. His preferred method of getting around tracks is in a touring car. You can now see Luca D'Amelio is up behind Ibrahim Khan, heading up the straight underneath the old Monza oval. Yellow in sector 2 that's just been cleared, but Yuri Toman loving life at the front of the field right now.
Yeah, he was, as far as I could tell, he was on the inside left. So he's the one, which is why he's got away completely cleanly, obviously, there. And actually, Jonas Rovio, who I think had qualified in 8th, I think it was 8th, wasn't he, down there, somewhere around there, is in 2nd place right now. Dennis Jordan up into 6th place. He was way off. Peo Pev in 5th place. Prezi Martano into 4th. They have all benefited massively. The question is, what sort of damage are they all carrying from that start?
It popped up in the top right of the timing screen that D'Amelio has actually got a penalty for something he did during that, so he must have bigly cut the chicane or something like that to grab that. But here we go, we've got some more overtaking moves down into the first chicane. It's one of the Rocket Esports cars getting Red Bulled as Timotej Andonovski in the Nita Velux Ferrari has moved himself up into 3rd position.
Andonovski is up into 6th. How? He started 22nd, didn't he? Something like that,
yeah.
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Yuri Toman benefited massively from this one, of course. He was already up there. He was 3rd place in qualification, so he's certainly in a position that he fought for, but this is definitely going to make it interesting. Now, let's not forget, of course, the qualified positions will reverse grid going into the main race. So while they're completely out of it right now, they will be back in that position as the race will restart. For example, I can see Wisniewski down in 16th place now, the pole position sitter. But the Red Bulls have gained massively from this as well. Dennis Jordan and Yuri Kastor both up there in 7th and 8th. Andonovski, as I say, up into 6th. And some of these drivers were way down. It has shaken things up. Not so much in the right way. I would prefer to see a much cleaner start, but that was about as calamitous as you're going to get. As I say that, I see that is a Butler Pal Porsche, I think. Tell I know that's
Jaser.
Not. It's that's Jean Lacey, isn't it? That's just gone flying off there, but he's back on the grid.
Yeah, I don't think I want to see a replay of that start because that was absolutely embarrassing for top-level GT racing in rFactor 2, but still, Yuri Toman leading the race, Simic in 2nd, Dennis Jordan and Yuri Kasdorp probably going to try and try and force their way through by slipstreaming each other. This is going to be a bit of bump drafting from Yuri. No, he's just going to hang it right there as they just absolutely, just absolutely muller Antonovsky into turns 1 and 2. One of the, I think it's Richards in the, I nearly said the Brawn GP car, but it's the Rocket Supersport car in the background.
I mean, basically the same guy.
Yeah, it's Richards and Khan racing each other. Hopefully they don't make any contact, but we did see some cars in the pits at the end of the first lap, so Antonovsky just giving up the position there to Peter Briliak trying to force his way through as well. And here's a replay.
Oh, no.
Do I really want to watch this? Okay,
so,
on board with Jakub Brzezinski.
So who nudges Sinchik? Because it's Sinchik that gets sent
he's
there.
his teammate.
Was it his teammate or was it
Yeah,
Brzezinski?
the two Vargas hit each other.
So it's Yuri Toman who's in the lead. And then obviously as soon as there's a car sideways before they even get there's nothing. Like Antonovsky right now way down. Look how many cars are in front of him. And he does a bit
to the grass and then cut the chicane.
Does a bit of an knock-on and gets away with it, doesn't he? And and then just has to weave his way through.
Fair play to them taking the proper line. I mean, they did knock out some of the Ballards, but they did take the proper line through there to avoid gaining too much time and getting a penalty. But yeah, I think those two Vargas did touch each other, and that sort of caused the public lobbiness in behind. Porsche just not locking brakes going across that. That's going to cause some more trouble.
I think that is that Michi Hoyer that's just sat there. There's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah.
No, it's the Corvette. It's Rocek, isn't it? Who was what, 4th or 5th? Yeah. Oh wow. Not the start you'd like to see, ladies and gentlemen, in a professional tournament when these drivers are all paid. But you know what? Accidents happen. Luckily, lives are not lost. And Yuri Kastor passing Dennis Jordan there in pretty easy format. Bit of a draft. Thank you very much. Obviously, Jordan did kind of open the door for him as well, make sure. Quite a bit of bumps extra on the front of those Corvettes.
Yeah, out of favour the C8 was as well. You know, a lot of drivers saying that we don't want the C8. It's just not good. But somehow Red Bull have managed to make it somewhat work. I mean, they have been helped slightly with that happened, but I think they'll get a lot out of this car, especially if BOP things happen either after this race or the next race or anything like that. So they'll definitely find a way of making the thing work. And Yuri Kasdorp, Dennis Jordan, two drivers that know what they're doing in rFactor 2. So big things expected from that. And this is Peo Pev for Butler Pal, sitting pretty in 4th with Presley Martino in behind.
Yeah, benefited massively from this one. Peo Pev absolutely delighted. Presley Martino started down in 10th as well, so he's going to be starting on the pole, I believe, in the main race as well. So could be some great points collected for him. Yuri Toma continuing to go off into the distance in the lead at the moment with Simicic up behind him. Yuri Simicic sort of gaining ground at the moment, 2.3 seconds. So we'll keep my eye on that. There's only 8 minutes to go in this, though. This is once again the start. So this is from Peo Pev's position, who's currently running up in 4th position. I think he just just goes up the outside, sees.
How did he avoid
just
that?
Hard on the brakes, and he takes the correct route. Yeah, avoids Rocek as well. And that's Kastorp and Jordan. So he's actually got past Dennis Jordan and Yuri Kastorp, because they're running down in 6th and 7th right now. So Peo Pev. And then round Curva Grande just says, thank you very much. I'm just going to keep on going.
That was Antonovsky and I believe Ibrahim Khan and Matt Richards that he cleared during Curva Grande. So Peo Pev has probably gained the most out of all of that. Yuri Toman still leading by 2.2 seconds to Jone Simicic in 2nd. Marocek Stoltz cap it a lap down, repairing that damage. Here's another replay of Peo Pev clearing the Red Bull up the inside into Ascari. Hits those sausage curves nice and clean. The car set up quite well on the old bumps and rebounds, and then that's a pretty much a textbook overtake. Yeah,
very nicely done. I do feel that I think it was Dennis Jordan kind of gave him quite a lot of room there as well, so was very much gifted to him. Antonovsky is going backwards a little bit from 6th down to 9th now, and looks like Peter Briliak also up there now in the Williams. Matt Richards up into 10th as well. Ibrahim Khan up behind him, so technically teammates. Obviously the Rocket Supersport and the Zancho drivers in there, certainly doing very well. So as it stands, definitely some points up for grabs here in this sprint race. It's going to really shake things up going into that main race, because you can see that the fact is that most of these drivers, they can all do it, right? You know, even the fact that Yuri Toma did get himself a much faster qualification time than the rest of the field. You know, obviously the top four were within I think 0.2 of one another. Maybe even I think the top three were within 1/100th of each other, actually, in terms of qualification time. So certainly in there, but they are all simply observers of this race, and it's all about Yuri Toma. Let's see what he can do for the Vargas Sim Racing. Meanwhile, Chinchik, who was up there, the man that got sent spiraling alongside Michi Hoya, hard on the brakes in that Aston, will manage to, well, force his way through somewhat with the elbows.
Yeah, Michi Hoya making a bit of contact with one of the Zanchos in behind. Can't see who that is, but here's the Red Bulls again, getting a lot of TV time tonight. And then back towards Ibrahim Khan, still in behind Matt Richards. So no team orders going on here from the top with Ed Trevelyan and Johnson. They're stalking Timotej Andonovski right now. So Richards and Khan representing Jensen Button's esports team, as Richards has a bit of a moment. And is he going to let Ibrahim Khan go through up towards Ascari? But Ibrahim Khan just keeping it alongside.
Carrying 10 kilos.
One of them's going to have to yield.
Yeah, Khan carrying 10 kilos more as well, don't forget. So certainly doing very well alongside Matt Richards here. Matt Richards, of course, newly promoted from the GT Challenge, the champion coming up here. Cedar Vaya also newly promoted along with Chinchik here. 21st and 22nd, not where either of them envisioned to be here in the GT Pro, but Chinchik certainly trying to get his head back in the game. We did point out there's money, prize money up for grabs across all the positions. So it's not just a case of, oh, I've binned it, therefore I'm out. You've got to get back in there. This is a season, let's not forget, where you've got to be gaining those points, and the prize money, etc., is all going to gain up there. But yeah, you can see the back end of Shinchik's Corvette very squirrely there. Sorry,
Richards on Andonovski around the outside of turn 1. That'll give him the inside for turn 2. Forced onto the sausage curb a little bit, maybe. We'll have to see that from an onboard, but Richards has just got himself in front, and now it's fluorescent yellow on fluorescent yellow and black. As well, I mean, they're both pretty much the same color scheme with the varying differences, but both cars now ahead of the Macedonian. Macedonian brakes very, very hard. Is there going to be contact into the next chicane? No, he just backs out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know why I called yellow blue then.
I don't know either. I'm not too sure, but they're going into the Lesmos and they're going to be side by side, which is a little tricky. Andonovski trying to fight for his positions here in that Ferrari, but as it's happening, Alex Siebel up behind, finished third in the championship in the GT Pro Season 3, certainly looking to try and put a move in here, but he's under pressure from Brzezinski up behind him as well. Andonovski once again having another nibble on Ibrahim Khan. This time he seems to have the run of him, going down into a scar, and I think, got to be honest, Ibrahim Khan might have to back out of this one. He is going to try and hold position, but that's a nice move from Andonovski.
Yeah, Ibra just backing out of that, doesn't want to get speared off, score some points, bag some points. If you have a bad round in the next race, he'll have those points in the bag, so you can he's got something to fall back on. But still, it's not over yet. We've got 2.5 minutes remaining. Still plenty of slipstreaming going on, but look at that C8 in behind him, looking quite racy.
And look at the tower. Look how many places have been made up. Pav 10 places. Yuri Kastorp 10 places. 12 places for Peter Briliak. Fantastic stuff. Meanwhile, Prezi Martono under pressure from Peter Briliak, looking to try and gain yet another place. 13 places it is. Hard on the brakes. Got to be careful turning in. Does manage to hold it pretty cleanly. Just a little bump, but that's all it's going to be. And now Martono's got to be going defensive here, because Dennis Jordan looking to try and get around Curva Grande around the outside. Maybe having to go for the switchback once again as they go into Della Roggia.
Yeah, going to try the outside line. President Martono is going to have the inside line here. Oh, the contact.
I mean, you've got to give Jordan a chance there. He can't break on the grass, and that's where Martono sent him off to. I don't know whether who's going to be giving the position back. Yes, Jordan will give the position back to Martono, but I got to feel Dennis Jordan not really given much choice there.
It's very reminiscent of what Charles Leclerc did a couple of years ago at Monza, when I think it was Lewis Hamilton had to go up the escape road and was not particularly happy about it. As we get a replay, oh, not again.
Well, I still want to see where the connection happens. I think it's Wisniewski. I think it's Wisniewski that
See,
clips him.
I saw two Vargas touch each other, so I don't know if that. I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean,
F.
luckily we've got race directors and that will be all looking at that. It's not
Jimmy's
down
gonna
to
be
us
all
as the
night.
commentators. Jimmy's going to have a very busy one, and there's going to be a lot of protests, I feel, for this one. Of course, this is not it. We've got 54 seconds remaining. This is just the sprint race. A 45-minute main race will follow this one with that enforced pit stop in there because they simply won't have fuel. Jonas Rovio of the Journalist Esports, we saw him going off the track earlier on, but it seems he's regained composure back down in 17th position.
Yeah, Schumflit following Zviers up the start-finish straight. I think that's what we actually got a bit further ahead. This is Antonovsky sniffing at the back of Jakub Brzezinski. He's going to try and go down the outside into turn 1 here.
I didn't see where Nikodem Wisniewski is, by the way, currently in standings, but I did see he set a fastest lap. So wherever he is, he's going fast again, even despite obviously being sent spiraling earlier on. He's continuing on there, but meanwhile, Andonovsky continues to put the challenge on, but he's being defensive here against Alex Siebel once again. Further up, Presley Martono, Dennis Jordan side by side. Dennis Jordan tapped once again into De La Rozier. He can't buy a chance there, can he?
No, that's twice in 2 laps that's happened. So if that happens again, there's going to be, questions asked. As,
he's lost the place
Matt
to
Richards
Matt
has gone
Richards,
past.
who actually is up into 8th now. He was down in 10th. What happened to Bahima? Him and Ibrahim Khan, they were side by side earlier on. Khan has gone down to 13th, while Richards has propelled forward up into 8th position. So while we were trying to digress and digest what's been going on at the start, Matt Richards has been making tracks here and benefiting from Presley Martono and Dennis Jordan's contact.
Meanwhile, Yuri Toman has a 4.5 second lead to Jerne Simoncic.
Yep, as he comes around the Parabolica, this is going to be the final lap, of course, as the time has run out. Jerne Simoncic will be 2nd place as well. Kevin Ciggy, by the way, we haven't even mentioned Kevin Ciggy, going to be finishing out 3rd place for him. Yuri Toman will take victory in the sprint race. Jerne Simoncic of Burst Esports will be 2nd. Kevin Ciggy from Redline in 3rd place in that BMW. Peo Pev making up 10 places in 4th for Butler Powell. Yuri Kastorp up behind him for Red Bull as well, also gaining 10 places. And Petr Briliak in 6th place, gaining 13 places in the sprint race because of that catastrophe of a start. There's no other word for it. Matt Richards, what happened there? He's 7th in the end. Where did Presley Martono go?
Good question.
What happened at the end there? Okay, there's Matt Richards. That's Presley Martono in the JMX Phantom. Is he going to lose it in the Lesmo?
Doesn't lose it in Lesmo 1. And into Lesmo... Okay, maybe
Oh,
not.
you tease. You tease.
We will never know.
We will never know what happened to Presley Martono. But either way, Matt Richards in 7th, Dennis Jordan in 8th, Nikola Brzezinski in 9th place, and Andonovsky in 10th. And I'm going to go out on a shoestring and say these are all provisional placements.
Just slightly. Von der Heide 14th with that ballast on board, so he's going to be happy with that. I've just been seeing in like different Discords and stuff. Here's Presley Martono. Does he just stuff it into Parabolica?
Oh, it's Parabolica who's lost the back end.
Yeah,
on the back of Parabolica. Oh, no.
That was on the last corner of the last lap by the looks of it.
Yeah, lost it. Oh, and lost so many places because of it as well, just under that pressure from Matt Richards. But here's the final confirmation of provisional sprint race positions for Yuri Toman in Varga Sim Racing in 1st place. Simoncic in the Ferrari for Burst Esports getting himself 2nd. Kevin Ciggy in the BMW Team Redline getting himself 3rd place. Peo Pev in the Porsche for Butler Powell, 4th place for him. Yuri Kastorp in the Corvette getting himself 5th place for Red Bull Racing. Petr Briliak for Williams Esports in 6th place as well. Matt Richards, what a great performance from him. Obviously newly promoted along with Yuri Toman, by the way, I should point out, for the Rocket Sim Sport in 7th position. Admittedly says he doesn't enjoy, he can't get into the GTEs. It's not his bread and butter. We'll see how it progresses over the season. Dennis Jordan in 8th for Red Bull, and Jakub Brzezinski also gaining lots of places in 9th. And Timotej Andonovsky in the end, 10th place for him, gaining from, I think, 21st position. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, that first sort of 400 yards of of whatever that was shaken the order up a bit, so we can't really say that any of this is indicative of the rest of the season. So hopefully they're going to be a bit more well behaved into turn one next time.
Yeah, obviously we're going to be keeping an eye on that. So now, just to remind you guys, because obviously there has been a change this season, a couple of changes in fairness. Firstly, the reverse order grid is not based on their positions they've just had here in the sprint race. The top 10 is reversed based on their qualifying positions, which means I believe Presley Martono will be starting on the pole. I think he was 10th, wasn't he? I didn't take a screenshot. I should have. Which means, obviously, for example, Chinchik will be starting down in 9th place. Wisniewski will be down in 10th place, and so on and so forth. It's only the top 10 that reverses, only the top 10. And let's point out once again, they have smaller fuel tanks than the stock would have, forcing them to make a pit stop to sort of keep things fresh, keep things entertaining out there. Now, of course, you know, you can go for the undercut, the overcut, wherever you fancy, whichever you feel is going to work better.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting till they go for the half and half over the 45 minutes, so sort of about 22 minutes and 22 minutes, or do they take the shorter fill at the start to build a gap and then full fuel it to the end, or do they take that shorter fill at the end with a splash and dash to make the final thing? So there's been conversations going on in the I've seen in the Zantra Discord, like, how do we make the most of this? I haven't seen the end of that conversation, so I'm not going to give anything away, but here are the rules. There you go. Cars fitted with small sprint fuel tanks requiring a pit stop in main race. They will not make it through fuel saving alone. They have to make the stop. So there's the little bit of strategy involved there. So
can't take too much away about how the championship's looking after the first sprint race, especially with the start that we had. We are obviously looking for much cleaner racing in this 45-minute main race. I'm going to put it down to summer fun maybe been had. You know, COVID was lifted a little bit. Everybody's been out. Everyone's gone a little wild in between the end of season 3 and the start of season 4. They've shook it all out in the first lap, and now we're going to have a proper race. That's what I'm saying, Aidan. That's what's happening.
Well, maybe they should start keeping 6 feet away from each other like we've been told to do for the last 15 months. So, yeah, it's because the start-finish area, as you can see on the B-roll here, you've got all of that runoff on the right-hand side of that white line. And then where the pit lane exit is, it just stops and there's grass and it narrows up into turn 1. So it just bottlenecks. So if you're trying to go 5-6 wide down the start-finish straight, you're only ever going to have an accident going into turn 1. So maybe they just need to keep in between those white lines as they keep talking about in real world motorsport.
So here's a question for you about the difference between the cars, and I don't know if you can actually answer it for me. Was it simply a case of a slow start? Obviously it was a rolling start, but a slow start for Wisniewski in the Porsche. Or is the Aston quicker on the acceleration from there? Because basically Chinchik just had the better of him from the start, and which is why I felt we went 3-4 wide, because it was such a slow start from Wisniewski.
Well, it did look like the Varga car did get the better start. It looked like he went just slightly microseconds after the Williams Esports car went. And then as the thing just bottlenecked, I mean, we've been chatting about it in our rFactor 2 commentators Discord channel that we're actually watching all of these beautiful graphics that Ruben's made on the screen, so we can tell you about all the bits and pieces. It's like I've been saying that the two Vargas hit each other, but like Jimmy's suggesting that someone was bumped into someone else, and then that bump, and then the chain reaction started there. So we're gonna have to go back and have a look at it later. Well, that's actually Jimmy's job. He can go and look at it and apportion blame either way. But I can see the cars doing their practice pit stops and things like that. So yeah, everyone just needs to keep it a bit more chill at the start. You know, the age-old phrase of you don't win the race at the first corner, and the famous if you no longer go for gap and all of that stuff. But just needs to be a bit more chill, a bit more calm, and the race is 45 minutes rather than 15 minutes, so you'd think they'd be a bit less aggressive at the start.
You'd think.
That being said, I've just seen a Varga car hit a Porsche going into the first chicane, so it's kicking off already.
that's probably the worst start I think I've seen at Monza for some time in sim racing. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I've seen even a bunch of community cups that have had cleaner starts than that. Where nothing but simple racers, not guys that are being represented by actual teams that have got years under the belt. So I do hope that, obviously, yes, I mean, it was the fact is, at that position, once one car goes sideways, there's not a lot anyone can do, because everybody else is trying to find their braking point, and suddenly there's a car in front of them sideways. It's just like, well, but yeah, I mean, it's a case of who made the contact first. And well, that's not for us to decide, Aiden, is it? We are simply here to guide you all through the action. As you can see on your screens, this is the weight limitations. As I pointed out, Ibrahim Khan, the highest placed, did have that 10 kilograms finished down in 13th, I think, at the end. Maybe actually 12th, probably gained the place with Presley Martino going off. Ferris Stanley Schunflet. Get it wrong every time.
Sconefleet. It's probably the best way to put it.
Sconefleet.
Yeah, or scone, depending on. Yeah, we'll start that debate of scone versus scone.
We'll get Arnie on here.
We'll get Arnie on to like guide us through it for the start of the next race. But the announcer's just gone through it in my ear to tell the guys to start gridding up. So they're going to start gridding up. About 20 seconds left, and the rolling start for race 2 will begin.
Let's hope it's a clean rolling start. I mean, this is where they can size themselves up, size up their opponents, say, okay, this is going to be fine. This is where it's all going to start out. There will be a couple of starting positions, of course. We're going to be having it won't be Nikita Wisniewski. They'll be down in 10th place, along with Vargas Simrace, and obviously Shinshik will be down in 9th. Here is the main starting order. Presley Martino on pole position with the reverse grid kicking in. Ibrahim Khan on second for Rocket Sim Sport. Kevin Ciggy, BMW Team Redline, third place for him. What a start that's going to be, because he finished in third place in the sprint race as well. Jakub Brzezinski in fifth for Williams. Rocek for Burst down in sixth. Yuri Toman, the winner of the sprint in Varga, in seventh place. Missed eighth place, god damn it. Marcel Chinchik in ninth, got to go faster. Varga Sim Racing, Nick Wisniewski for Williams down in 10th place. Hopefully won't be contacting Matt Richards for 11th place. Damn you, Ruben. Just too quick. Dennis Jordan for Red Bull in 13th. Bayo Bev in 14th for Butler Powell. Yuri Kazdop in 15th for Red Bull. And Michi Hoyer down in 16th. It was Simicic back there, by the way, earlier on. Jordi Sviers, John Alesi, 17th. Who's Felipe Capamaggi in HM Engineering. Peter Breliak in 19th. Peo Pev, I believe it was, down in 20th. Andonovsky in 21st. Sedevaya 22nd. D'Amelio 23rd. And Alex Siebel for Red Bull Racing 24th. There we go. Scudflet in 25th. Ferry Stanley down in 26th. Schaura 27th. And Jon van der Heide down in 28th, which means we've lost a car somewhere around there. Jonas Rovio down at the back of the grid for BS Competition.
Yeah, last but not least, Jonas Rovio making his debut for BS Plus competition in this series. He ran as an independent last season, ran for Sancho before that, so he's moved teams for a new start.
Just to remind the chat, I can see questions saying there, isn't the grid wrong? No. The rules have changed. The top 10 is reversed based on qualification times, not sprint race times, which is why you see Presley Martino, who finished 10th in qualifying on the start of the grid. Wisniewski down in 10th, obviously was the fastest, and actually set the quickest lap, by the way, in the race, I noticed as well.
Yeah, it's slightly changed. I mean, we had a thing on the screen explaining all of that, but maybe we should read all those rules again just to make sure. But yeah, it's slightly changed for this season. So, like you say, it's done on qualification rather than race position. So you've got Nikita Wisniewski that's got to make his way from 10th back through to the front, and they're just coming up to Parabolica now. So we can probably join the live feed and see if they're nice and clean as turn one this time.
We hope so. There it is.
Yes.
Do we see them? You see them just rolling around. Ruben's been setting this one up, hasn't he? And let's hope this time around it is a much cleaner start. Presley Martino and Ibrahim Khan. Away we go, ladies and gentlemen. The main race of the GT Pro Season 4 underway, and they are going to be 5 wide, it seems, as they try and find their positions. Presley Martono hot on the brakes, comes through. That looks like a Burst Esports has managed to make his way up into second place, so a great start there, and this time much cleaner, Aiden, just 2 on the runoff.
Yeah, 2 taking the proper line through there, respecting the escape road rules. But you've got Presley Martono who's enjoying a 3.5 lead to Simoncic in second. Brzezinski's in third. Ciggy fourth. Khan's dropped at fifth and all that. Toman is now in sixth. Mrocek has managed to battle with Shinchik. Mrocek has managed to get in front now as the cars hammer the curbs coming through the second chicane and up to Lesmos 1 and 2.
Yeah, what a great start from Jonas Simoncic up into the second position, the burst. So Presley Martono under the pressure already. But the Vargas Sim Racing drivers, Yuri Toman and Marcel Chinchik, 6th and 7th, already putting the pressure down there as we see him cutting across immediately. But Ibrahim Khan losing position, started out in second, down to 5th already. Meanwhile, we see Dennis Jordan trying to get past here. Luis Felipe Capamagian on the left-hand side of him, and the HM Engineering car as they come into Ascari, and Dennis Jordan realizes he needs to back out.
Yeah, trying to go into the outside of Ascari isn't my idea of fun, as there's contact in behind us. One of the burst cars going off.
It's Michi Hoyer, I think.
Michi Hoyer. So he's managed to get that under control, so no damage done to that Ferrari. Maybe a bit of damage pride, but when you're traveling at such high speeds, I thought there was a car off in the background. It's just a seagull, but there's just managing to keep that under control, and he's able to keep going. But like I say, because it's so high speed and the acceleration's so good here, you're just going to get swamped in that situation. So
it looks like it was Rocek that had to. We saw one of the Burst Esports having to go through the runoff section at the start. And it looks like it's Rocek. Rocek, obviously, who'd had a great qualifying, was 4th place in qualifying. So he's the one that's suffered, it seems, further down in the field. Here is the new race leader, Yerny Simoncic. It feels like a while since I've said race leader in the GT Pro, but here he is once again, the Burst Esports man in the Ferrari, taking over Presley Martono very nicely there and getting himself up in position. Presley Martono looking a little bite back. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to work for him as they go into Della Roggia.
Presley Martono still hanging on in there against Yerny Simoncic, who is probably one of the fastest guys in rFactor 2. FSR champion 2 times over. I don't know if he managed to secure the championship yesterday, but he's definitely a fast boy. But Presley Martono switching from the big Bentley to the big BMW and doing very, very well in second place, as it so happens. He managed to hold on to that lead for an entirety of the lap. But he's still sticking with Simoncic, so he can use that slipstream to get back into it if he can stay close enough.
Wisniewski's still down in 10th, by the way. Wasn't able to gain any places from that start, so trying to play it as safe as he can. Meanwhile, Shinchik, as I mentioned, started out in 9th, up into 6th place, so he certainly gained a number of places. Kevin Ciggy, though, he went backwards. Started out in 3rd place, down into 7th off that starting grid. There's yellows in Sector 3, which means just behind us, I'm guessing a car has gone off coming out of Ascari. That's got to be assuming what it is, because it quickly went off as well as they go around the Parabolica.
There's the Aston Martin in front of Ibrahim Khan, doing okay with that ballast. He's managed to stay in the slipstream of the Williams car in front. And the slipstream, he's going to have to go to the outside and cut to the inside. He's probably not going to get anything done on the brakes, just weaving behind, trying to throw the pole off guard. But still keeping nice and close. But then he's got the 2 more Aston Martins that aren't carrying weight in behind him.
Scarily close, Ibrahim Khan there. This is a replay from the start. So this is the yellow flags, I guess. Matt Richards getting a bit battered and bruised, it seems, in the Rocket Sim Sport. So just been nudged off at Lesmos. That was back on the previous lap here, though. Yerny Simoncic with the fastest lap of the race so far, of course. All carrying a relative amount of fuel, but don't forget they will have to make that pit stop. So a case of when and where they do that is purely up to the drivers themselves, as Presley Martono keeps hot on the heels. There is a gap forming. It's a second gap, isn't it, between Presley Martono and Prince Brzezinski. Is it Brzezinski that's behind you in 3rd place?
Brzezinski. Yeah, so Brzezinski actually kicked up some dust coming through the Lesmos, so that might have slowed him down a tiny bit, but still Ibrahim Khan keeping with him there in 4th place. Just looking a bit further down, we've got Jordi Zviers out of the race entirely. Shara down there right at the back with von der Heide in 27th, but your top 10, Simičić, Martino, Brzezinski, Khan, Toman, Chinchik, Kapit, Ciggy, Kazdorp, Wisniewski, with Pinto in hot shoot in 11th.
I'm not sure I'd be happy about my teammate going full lights behind me, but that's what Martel Chinchik is doing on Yuri Toman right now. Maybe he's just flicked the button by mistake. I'm not too sure. It's going to be lighting up in his dashboard, certainly lighting up in the mirrors of Yuri Toman as teammate on teammate looking for it. And once again, we see Ibrahim Khan looking to try and get past Jakub Brzezinski. Meanwhile, Presley Martono just having a quick look there as well as they ride the curbs through once again. Everybody goes through cleanly. Further back at the field, I'm just trying to see if there's any movers or shakers. There is. Matt Richards up into 14th position as he passes Dennis Jordan.
Yeah, Richards.
Not Dennis Jordan, sorry. Who was it behind him? It's a
Williams.
It's a Williams, yeah. So it's Peter Briliak.
Briliak, yeah. So yeah, we're trying to look at about 14 different things at once, and here's a replay now of Jordi's Veers. What happens here?
This is where Matt Richards gets
cars.
Is it?
Was the contact?
It's going into Ascari, isn't it? Yeah.
Tiny bit of contact, spins the... Oh, that's a hard hit. We'll have to see that from a different angle to see if there was any way of apportioning blame. Richards got put onto the curb, and then as he came back down, just spun that car out. So that's... I'm not going to say anything about that. That's one for Jimmy. I can't really call it from that angle, so... not good for Jacer, and it might not also be good for Rocket.
I'm not sure if that's Richards or Jan van der Heide, to be honest, actually. That may have been further down the field. We did see Richards off the track back at the Lesmos in the replay a while back, but I don't think that was him.
Okay. Yeah, again, I'm looking at about 14 different things. I'm getting a message now from Ed Trevelyan Johnson. That would have been Jan. So,
that was Jan.
Sorry, Matt. Please don't kill me.
Yeah, I thought that looked like Jan van der Heide. Yes, indeed. There we go. Confirmation, the car from Jan van der Heide up the inside. I mean, it's simply a case of two going into Ascari don't work. Well, speaking of Matt Richards, there he is. He's back on your screen, and he's lost his position once again by the looks of it to Briliak. So Briliak's definitely got back in front. I tell a lie. I'm looking at Ibrahim Khan.
You told me off.
Damn you, Rocket, and too many cars on this grid.
Oh, I don't think we're coming back for next season.
I think we've binned already.
Oh, well, it's all part of the entertainment as we're on board with Yuri Toman. Right, we've got that bit right. So, Ruben! Marcel Chinchik now coming into the two Lesmos as Toman kicks up some dust. That shouldn't slow him down too much. Lesmo number 2, that curb on the inside is deadly. And then you just see more dust being kicked up. Everybody seems to be running pretty well down at the front of the field. So it's going to be a case of when are these first pit stops going to happen?
So last time I looked at it, Martono was a second ahead of Brzezinski. That is not the case anymore. Brzezinski is gaining. Mainly based on the fact he's probably under pressure from Ibrahim Khan. He's not having to be defensive, but he's definitely gaining. You can see Simičić with Martono very much behind him. So what was a front leader pack starting to break away have been reeled back in. So everybody getting back on the base here, it seems, a little bit, as Risto Capit getting himself involved now as he closes in on the Varga Sim Racing team of Chinchik and Toman. Chinchik, by the way, also backed off the rear end of his teammate a little. Let's see what they're going to do going into the chicane. Martono is losing a position here. Brzezinski looking to try and make it through. And I tell you what, Ibrahim Khan's looking to do the same as well, and he will. Martono forced wide. Also, is that Yuri Toman? Yuri Toman gets past as well up into 4th, and Ibrahim Khan making it work. But Presley Martono losing 3-4 places, I think it was. 3 places.
Could be 5.
In one corner. And as you say, going around Curva Grande into Della Roggia, it looks like it may be another as Chinchik certainly gets up alongside him. You can see the lights are up, and he has managed to get through. Disaster of a start of the lap for Presley Martono there.
Yeah, it's 2nd to 6th in the space of 3 or 4 corners. So not good for Presley Martono. You can try something in the pit stops here, but still with that limited fuel capacity, there's only going to be so much you can put in and still make it to the end. So it's not looking good for the debutant in GT Pro, but still top 6 position in your first feature race. Not bad at all, but he's still got Resto Kappa inbound.
Somebody else struggling out there is Kevin Ciggy. This is the start of it. As you see him going over the line, Martono passed by. And I think it's just a case of lack of concentration. As soon as he's trying to fight for one position, puts him out of position where Ibrahim Khan makes his way through. Then as he's forced wide, Yuri Toman's like, yeah, thanks very much. I'll take a look at slice of that. And then it's a case of, I need to defend. And just losing, obviously, as soon as you're losing the pace into Curva Grande, it puts you out of position. And that's, of course, Marcel Cinchik then coming across into Della Roggia as he passes Presley Martono. And then the fast approaching Roman Grosjean Esports up behind. And oh no, he's gone past as well. There goes Yuri Castor.
Yeah, that Roman Grosjean car looking like something out of Knight Rider. A great livery on that this year. And then there's the gaggle of cars led by Kuba Brzezinski. So Ibrahim Khan actually dropped some places, dropped down from 2nd to sort of 6th. He's started to make his way back, so he might be able to try and put something on Kuba Brzezinski if there's the opportunity available.
So I just wonder if this is some sort of setup they've gone with here in terms of fuel. Obviously, they can decide how much fuel goes in there, but they do need to refuel. What I'm looking at is Kevin Ciggy, who did finish 3rd in the sprint race and started out in 3rd on the grid as well in this main race, but he's gone down to 10th, so I wonder if he's carrying a lot of fuel maybe and looking to go as long as possible. But as it is, it's starting to slip away from him. But I say that, still only 6 seconds behind Jonas Rovio, so still plenty of time in there. Yellow flashing up in sector 2. That is possibly someone just tipping a toe in the Lesmos.
Wisniewski just dropped a place, so that might have had something to do with it. Just looking down the field as to where the battles are, there's obviously this one, as that's Pejo Pev sticking it up inside Wisniewski. And behind that, I think it's Peter Briliac. So I know Briliac's at the head, sort of near the front of this queue in 14th. As we're on board with Wisniewski, going to try and put one into Parabolica.
He's had to have had an off.
Maybe. Oh, just sent that Porsche a tiny bit wide. I think there was contact, but he's through now. And then there's that BMW in behind. That's going to want to sniff at things as well.
He shuts the door pretty harshly there, not coming through. But yeah, Wisniewski from 10th down to 16th, fighting for that position. Personally, the man that set the fastest lap and the fastest qualifying time under pressure. Oh, that was tight there. Very, very tight. Pejo Pev comes across and he gets a big old smack in the rear end, but he manages to fight the wheel and regains control there. So nicely caught from Pejo Pev.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. Here's Nikodem Wisniewski coming. Oh,
yeah, so it was the Lesmo, yeah.
Oh,
he's done a full spin.
Ooh,
that's
maybe
why.
not.
That's why he lost places.
Save.
Yeah,
that's a very good save. Managed to keep that out of the wall. Managed to stop facing the wrong way as well. At Monza, I'd rather spin at the start of a straight than halfway down it. But now looking at the Red Bull Esports C8R, just making its way up behind Presley Martin. This is Yuri Kazduk we're looking at here. Red Bull doing very well in a car that wasn't very favoured in the draft.
Yeah, and we'll keep our eye on Jakub Brzezinski's time, see whether he can gain on Jonas Rovio in the Ferrari, currently in the lead for Burst Esports, certainly putting in some great time. Ibrahim Khan carrying 10 kilograms, by the way, in that Aston as well, currently running in 3rd place and keeping those 2 Varga sim racing drivers, Yuri Toman and Marcel Cinchik, behind him at the moment. Of course, we don't know what sort of fuel these guys are running and when and where they're likely to pit. With 15 minutes into the race, they will have to take a pit stop at some point, whether it be a splash and dash, whether they're carrying a lot of fuel, we don't know. It's all down to the drivers. That's what they can choose. Speaking of Ibrahim Khan, he's under pressure. Yuri Toman looking to have a peek here into the chicane. Filio has caused and claimed a lot of action so far, but this time it's going to be clean once again, and Ibrahim Khan is putting pressure onto Brzezinski.
Yeah, but look how close they're getting to Simoncic now. That lead's dropped now that these guys have stopped battling like they were. So Simic had like 1.5 second gap to Brzezinski, and now he's only got half a second, so they are catching in.
He must have made a mistake there because he had a second, just a second ago, just literally in that lap. So he's obviously had a bit of a bad braking, bad something, just completely missed his brake point somewhere, but he's lost half a second within a lap.
Have a look at his times. He's been lapping consistent low 46s for the last 3 laps, so so he probably has made a mistake at some point, but we'll find out when he crosses the line as to how much he did lose, if indeed he did lose anything. As Ibrahim Khan's under pressure from Yuri Toman. Toman looking to the outside of the Scari, but backed out of that one smartly, because overtaking around the outside is just
we've already seen it go wrong.
Yeah, we've already seen it go wrong, and Ibrahim Khan has managed to gap just that little bit as a result.
So keep your eye. Yuri Simic really doing a fantastic job in the Ferrari to gain that first place in the first place. But Kevin Ciggy now up into 10th, actually got past Capamagia, and that's gaining a position. So Kevin Ciggy back into 9th position. Dennis Jordan still chasing on him, along with Matt Richards, of course, down in 11th position at the moment. But once again, we see the Varga sim racing of Yuri Toman, the winner of the sprint race, having a look up the inside, possibly going to go round the outside, hard on the brakes, and his teammates looking to try and follow through as well. Chinchik is right there alongside him, and now he's going to get that little nudge onto Curva Grande to try and force some rounds, some proper teamwork here, trying to get past Ibrahim Khan.
Yeah, they might do it as well. That Aston Martin is a tiny bit, well, I say a tiny bit heavy. It's 20 kilos heavier than the 2 Varga cars, and it looks like one of them has definitely got in front into the second chicane. He's the second one going to follow him through. Hard braking, a little bit of contact, and through, maybe? What was that spin?
Yeah,
he's round, half spin round, and look who's managed to pick up the pieces in that. It's Risto Capit.
Yeah, it's always going to be tricky going through Della Roggia, that's for sure. Risto Capit absolutely gaining places there, saying thank you very much. Up into 4th place he goes. Ibrahim Khan quickly regains that position, sides his way through, and now looks Chinchik looking to try and do the same, but it's not going to be enough as they approach Ascari.
Is there a little bit of contact in behind there from for Chinchik from Kazdor? Because I saw the back end just slightly kick out. That's not good. No!
Yep, he caught Ibrahim Khan. He absolutely clacked it in there. I saw his back end go. Yeah, there he is off the side. Martono's off as well, and that's all come about from Marcel Chinchik and Risto Capit contact. There's Martono regaining control of his car, but he's obviously going to fall down. That looks like 10th place for him as Dennis Jordan comes through. Capamaggio, that's the HM Engineering up behind at the moment as Matt Richards moves up into 8th position. So definite contact through Ascari. Kevin Ciggy now also up into 7th as well, so he's gained. He's now on the back of Marcel Chinchik.
Yeah, sorry for the outburst there. I'm not biased, honest. Yeah, we don't want to see things like that happen, but here we go. This is all kicking off into the first chicane. Matt Richards maybe on Kevin Ciggy. There's a bit more contact between the Varga and the BMW, but they're safely through. But it's just such close racing here today. It's almost like watching the BTCC sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Presley Martono and Dennis Jordan getting very close and hot and heavy further down there. Matt Richards looking to challenge out Kevin Ciggy, the veteran here of the GT Pro Series.
Brzezinski's taken the lead.
Oh, he has. Yeah, Chinchik has lost the lead. So we'll have a look at that on the replay in a second as Kevin Ciggy does get done by Matt Richards there. So Matt Richards through on the BMW Team Redline driver. Let's have a look. This is at the... No, this is further down. So this is the contact going into Ascari. So that's Risto Capit on the left-hand side. I got to be honest, that looks like Risto Capit catching the far ground, collecting Ibrahim Khan, who comes across and collects another car as well. Yeah, that's... I got to be honest, that looked like Risto Capit to me.
Yeah, I might need to see that. It might need to see a trademark Ruben Carrera with slow-mo on that one. But Brzezinski managed to stick it inside Simic into the second chicane. That's where he took the place. I saw it on my other screen because I was watching that battle on there. But we've now got a new race leader. It is Williams Esports, Jakub Brzezinski. Which, if that hadn't have happened, would have reeled in everybody into this battle, because we said at the time, you could see the times were tumbling, you could see that Simic was losing ground to Jakub Brzezinski, and I believe this is going to be the replay of it. Yeah, here we go.
Round the Parabolica. Tell a lie, no, this is back through the Lesmos, isn't it?
It's Curva Grande coming to the second chicane.
Yeah, no, yeah. So he's just gone up the inside. So Simic just gave him that one. He wasn't going to fight for it seems there. So didn't want to battle too hard. As I say that, going into Ascari is trying to battle a little bit harder, as he does have a little fight back, a little nibble.
Yeah, that was a replay of the same overtake as we go a bit further back. We're looking at Luis Felipe Capamajan for HM Engineering coming through Curva Grande, chasing down Yuri Kazdorp there in 5th place at the front of this queue.
So Ciggy up to 6th, has got past Capamajan, was started in 3rd, went down to 10th, back up to 6th now after all the action happening there. Yuri Kazdorp still holding that 5th place. Meanwhile, Dennis Jordan up into 9th as well. His teammate, along with Alex Siebel, actually also up into 11th. So great race from Alex Siebel, actually. He started way down the grid. So he's gained a lot of ground. Nikodem Wisniewski back into 12th as well after his spin that we saw earlier on, just after the Lesmos.
Yeah, I've just seen some drivers in the pit lane as well. Matt Richards dropped down to 23rd. So was that as a result of a pit stop, or was that a result of contact or a mistake? We need to find out what happened there. Sorry that we can't keep up with everything because everything's happening so quickly, but still seeing Kazdorp leading this queue of cars, which is Kazdorp, Ciggy, Capet, Pinto, Jordan, Briliak, and also Siebel involved. But you can see this long line of cars. It's like watching the Indy 500.
Yeah, and obviously the pit window very much open now as we hit the halfway stage, so not too surprised to start seeing people diving in for that pit lane as they do come around the Parabolica. Looks like we're going to see Ciggy fading away. So Ciggy going into the pits there. There's quite a few of them actually all starting to peel off into the pits. So all looking at that half and half. As I say that, it wasn't Ciggy that peeled off because Ciggy is right here. It was the HM Engineering vehicle, which we did talk about. Looks pretty much the same.
Told you.
Black and red, yeah. Caught us off guard.
Oh, here we go. It's all kicking off in the pit lane. So who's that? That's Ibrahim Khan. We're looking back. That's one of the Zanchos coming in. Please note unsafe release as also taking tyres. I don't think that's needed, but okay. Might as well. As they both leave the pit lane. Just as a reminder, rFactor 2 has collision in the pit lane, unlike other sims like that. As that's as close as you'll ever see in terms of releasing into the pit lane.
Yeah, we had a similar in another race on Sunday. I had a very similar situation, and they connected here. So I'm hoping they don't do it this time around, as that's Wisniewski, isn't it, in the Porsche that's just got himself ahead of them in 19th position, so he manages to hang on. Meanwhile, looking back from Cito Valla's point of view there, further up the field, Yuri Kazdorp, with Nuno Pinto hot on his heels now. Obviously, position's going to shake up quite a lot here. Race leader remains, by the way, so they have yet to pit at the moment, the front four.
Yeah, this is Bristow Capet. That's the contact we saw earlier. Managed to keep it out the wall.
I wasn't actually looking at his steering wheel to see whether he came across. I didn't notice. I was so focused on like seeing what was happening in the mirrors, and then completely forgot to look at his hands to see whether he actually turned in to try and get that race in line. Speaking of, in comes Yuri Kazdorp into the pits. Jurni Simicic in the pits as well. So second place Jurni Simicic in the Ferrari now in the pits from Burst Esports. It means that Jakub Brzezinski continues in the lead. We'll keep an eye on him, see where the undercut works. Yeah, just get ahead of him by driving around him.
It's again that's a common thing that happens with collision. There we go. As Michi Hoyer does exactly the same thing to Kazdorp. So just pointing the cars slightly inwards for the better exit. There we go. Out he goes, and he should just be able to turn the limiter off pretty quickly. And off he goes back out onto the start-finish straight. And is he going to get out in front of Capamajan? No.
Nope. Capamajan flying past. Nice little view. Can't cross the white line, of course. Exiting the pits as they will continue round. So Brzezinski, Yuri Toman, Risto Capit all continuing on, as has Kevin Ciggy. Still hasn't pitted yet. Neither has Dennis Jordan, as far as I can tell. Nuno Pinto either in the Fordzilla, and Alex Siebel also, along with Peo Pef, all still holding out, waiting for those pits. You can see the cut-off pretty clearly there from Rocek to Jurni Simicic, 9th and 10th, the two Burst Esports drivers. One pitted, one hasn't. a 15-second gap between the two. Obviously, Simicic was second place when he went into pits. We'll see where it shakes out. The undercut, will it pay off over Jakub Brzezinski?
So I'm assuming Richard's pitted. That's why he was so far down, because he's back up to 12th now.
Yes.
As things are cycled round. So
no need to panic.
No need to panic. I mean, I already said he caused a collision when he didn't. So yeah, I'll have to get attacked for that one later. But it's. I mean, he's having a great run, considering.
Okay,
that,
they're in the pits. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
So Brzezinski, Capit. Oh, I tell you what, Yuri Tomo. What's their position in the pits? How are they sitting? Because they're all in the pits together. This is
Oh, that's close.
Here comes a BMW. I think that's Kevin Ciggy that just pulled in front of Aristo Capit there, isn't it? That's just pulled right in front of him. So he's going to have to really turn it to get around there. There we go.
Well
Lost his rear wing. No, that's disaster.
That's not good. That's a disaster for Scotland as he's wiped off his rear wing.
No.
I mean, straight line speed's going to be great, but going through a Ascari, probably not so good.
Not like this. Not like this. I mean, oh yeah, now he's realised I cannot brake. This is not good.
Extreme DRS.
I mean, he just simply put the hammer down, wheel spinned it. I mean, Ciggy was in his right to stop where he did. There's no, we were talking about it, you know, that they will go for that position. Yeah, he's going to, Curva Grande is going to be a hairy one for him, that's for sure. So how does that all shake out? Well, we'll see when they do all exit the pits and things start to reposition in terms of Risto Capit. Disaster for him. Dennis Jordan and Alex Siebel still yet to pit, by the way, along with Peo Pep and David Rocek. At the moment, Jonas Simicic has come out ahead of Brzezinski by quite a margin. So the undercut paid off.
Capit stacked it. And he's out.
Yeah, and he's gone. He's gone. Absolutely gone. Lost his rear wing. So with the new race leader is Jonas Simicic once again. It paid off. And more importantly, look at that. His teammate also there as well, Petr Briliak. Looks like it's paid off for him as well as Brzezinski. So the undercut absolutely paying dividends.
Yeah, undercut seems to be pretty powerful. I mean, like, watching these pit stops, I'm bricking it for Formula Challenge at the end of the season because it's going to be at Monza in cars that are way more susceptible to damage compared to these things. But still, things cycling through. This is a whole new thing for us because they have to stop for the pits this time as Siebel, Pev and Rocek now enter the pit lane. Dennis Jordan, your leader as it stands. Simicic in second place, 17 seconds behind. So it looks like Jordan's still to make that pit stop.
Tell a lie. Okay, so Petr Briliak has now pitted. So Brzezinski is indeed in second place, or will be, once Dennis Jordan takes that first pit. But as you can see, considering Brzezinski was ahead of Jonas Simicic, now a 3-second gap almost between the two. So what a massive benefit that undercut has paid for him. Matt Richards also, by the way, I want to put it, I'll say it, because you can't. What a huge performance it's actually paid off for him. The undercut has been enormous. He's up into 5th place. That is a great work from him. Well, it'd be 4th place, obviously, when Dennis Jordan comes into the pits. Dennis Jordan, I mean, what sort of laps is he doing? Because he's going to have to absolutely hoof it with everybody benefiting from this undercut. Dennis Jordan, who was running relatively around, I think it was at 8th or 9th position, is going to find himself a little bit further down. How long is those pit stops? There's Siebel and Kastorp. So Alex Siebel's come out as well ahead of Yuri Kastorp. So he went longer. Alex Siebel came in. He was running behind Jordan. He went in the pits before. So now the overcut's also working. I'm confused, Aidan. I'm confused.
Yeah, it's all going to get shaken up pretty well as Jordan now brings it into the pit lane. So we'll see where he comes out. We don't actually know how much fuel they're going to take. We don't know how long it's going to take, and it's going to jiggle up the order a bit, and that makes everything really cool for everybody else. So yeah, he's definitely in the pit lane, and it's still kicking off behind with battling because we've got like Ciggy, Siebel, Kastorp, Stolzer, Rocek, and Pev all running nose to tail.
So obviously a couple of them going through. The question is, remember he was running. Siebel was up behind him. Siebel went in the pits. Now Jordan coming out of the pits now. Where is he going to be? There's the line as they all come through. I think that's Ciggy that's just passed by. Because Capimagine, there's Ciggy. Oh, and he's coming out side by side with Kevin Ciggy, Team Redline and Red Bull Esports, and the John Alesi Esport, Casper Stoltz slotting in and actually taking Yuri Kastorp at the same time.
There's Jordan out in 6th place. Still Red Bull doing quite well, considering. Jan van der Heider's made a few positions in the cycle in the pit stops, and here's the replay.
Oh, clip it, boys. Here we go.
Yeah, kick the rear end out a bit too much. Whack. Lost that rear end and then stacked it after the second Lesmo.
Ciggy's just sat in his car. Got him. Got him.
That BMW is too big.
But Ciggy obviously in 8th position, so he didn't really gain too much from all those pit stops. He's surrounded by those Red Bull cars, not ideal for him. This is the Butler Powell Porsche of Peo Pev, I believe, just ahead in 16th position there as we look at Nuno Pinto with Sedo Vaya up behind him right now, looking all over the rear wing of that Porsche.
And the Porsche just ahead. I mean, Briliak, I think, just trying to stick it inside Ascari, but it's not going to happen. You've got the Zancho and the Team Fordzilla car fighting in behind. I think that might actually be Sedo Vaya, maybe. Just trying to, I mean, like I say, I need more eyes.
It's Sedo Vaya behind, the side by side with Nuno Pinto right now as they approach the Parabolica, and well, I mean, it's going to be tricky. Obviously, you want to kind of be on the inside, but you know he's going to have a better exit. But the switchback is just going to get forced out there. Meanwhile, you can see the burst Ferrari up behind as well. Casper Stoltz passing Kevin Ciggy up into 8th place as they come into the chicane. As they say that, I think that's Michi Hoyer, isn't it? The Ferrari, I believe it is. That's side by side. He's looking to pass Nuno Pinto and Sedo Vaya as well, and he does it. Brilliant stuff. Oh, the nudge from the back there. Just a little a love tap from Ferris Stanley. Yeah,
Ferris Stanley just giving that Fordzilla Porsche a bit of a thwack. He's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, that was almost contact there. That was very close between Pinto and Stanley there, but the Indonesian up there into 19th place, being quite anonymous at the minute compared to last season in that Ferrari that he had. But I'm sure he'll find some pace in that Aston Martin towards the end of the season, as we now cut back to Yuri Kastorp and Kevin Ciggy battling it out. And that'll be David Mrocek in behind them in 11th place. So battling up and down the grid. So hopefully we get to see this for the rest of the season as well.
Now, I'm going to keep my eye on the times at the front, of course. We have just under 13 minutes now still to go here in the main race currently. Jonas Simicic in the Ferrari for Burst Esports leading the race. In-car view from Yuri Kastorp there, hot on the rear end of Kevin Ciggy of Team Redline. And, of course, just behind him, David Mrocek, who had a great qualifying but just hasn't been able to put it together in the race. Obviously, was involved in that very big collision in the first sprint race. Yuri Kastorp up alongside into the parabolic car and absolutely will be able to make it switch. The switchback maybe from Ciggy will have the better exit, but it looks like he's made it work.
Mrocek's having a sniff as well, so Mrocek can get a decent exit out Parabolica. He might get the slipstream from the Red Bull car just ahead of him, and he has. He might be able to slingshot both of them into turn one.
Just as we saw.
Look at that.
We saw Michi Hoyer doing the exact same thing for Burst Esports a moment ago, and now Kevin Ciggy trying to use the braking. No, not going to work out for him. Just behind them as well. Looks like Chinchik in 12th is also under pressure as well, so he's also getting back involved in this. He's currently down in 12th, obviously after the collision earlier on. Him and Wisniewski both struggling here in the main race to gain positions.
Looks like both of those Burst Esports cars travelling at warp 10 down the back stretch, or the front stretch, I should say. Kevin Ciggy getting close to Yuri Kastorp into the second chicane, not close enough to make an attempt, but still with all the straights here, it's definitely something we can do. Peter Brolac and Arne Schonflit coming through Curva Grande now. Will Schonflit get the run on the inside into the second chicane? We'll find out when they come round onto the next shot. Here it is. See the Aston Martin pull out at the last second, maybe. No, he's not close enough. Just going to keep on following that Williams Esports Porsche through the rest of the lap.
I might want to check your eyes, mate. That's an Aston Martin.
Yeah, so it is.
If you remember, there's a reason that there is a certain few Aston Martins with extra weight. Peter Breliak may be one of those that swooped in and got the Aston earlier on from the Zanchos, and at the moment, Peter Breliak hanging on in there. Ruben,
there's too much going on.
Ruben switching, so you've got all the car sides there, just to help you out,
I'm quite the smooth brain, in case you haven't realised. But now that's a Williams Esports Porsche.
Yes, it is.
Wisniewski. There we go.
And that's Luca D'Amelio just in front of him that's been putting pressure onto Marcel Chinchik as well. So these guys all obviously racing for points and positions, championship points. Obviously, it's quite a lot to be had here. So a lot of pressure. By the way, I was keeping my eye on the times of the front, and it is tumbling. Brzezinski is gaining on Jonas Rovio. 10 minutes to go. Luca D'Amelio sends it, and Chinchik just completely caught napping.
Yeah, more bumping and barging and stuff. Please don't spin another car out. We don't need another car spinning out, but getting close to the
irony
on the inside.
The irony is it's Wisniewski and Chinchik again.
Yeah.
No like love lost, I think, for those two.
BMW on the inside. Luca D'Amelio makes that move, just squeezes through, but that Porsche is going to probably get swapped, maybe. No, because the other two have made mistakes as well.
Andonovski coming up on the inside of Chinchik as well, but it looks a bit behind, so he's having a little peek in the Ferrari, keeping the close eye on that one. Doesn't look like it's going to be out of gain, though, as they go around the Lesmos. And let's see what sort of straight line speed they've got. And keep your eye on the burst as well behind, because we were talking about what straight line speed they've got. Andonovski looks like he's going to try and make a little look here, and that's a defensive move from Chinchik.
Managing to cover it off into Ascari, has gapped the Ferrari a tiny bit, as we see a replay now on board with Luca D'Amelio.
Send it.
Absolutely fired that in to the first corner, just made it stick.
Just about. I don't think he was expecting it to come from so far back, that's for sure. So Chinchik going to be reeling from that one. Oh, and he's lost a position. That's Wisniewski in front of him. Chinchik has lost the position to Wisniewski, so Wisniewski's got past now. And Andonovski also having a little sniff, having a look to see if he can make it work as they go into Rezzofilo. Andonovski wants a piece of this, but yeah, look at the defensiveness from Chinchik, just sent it out wide. Oh, some hot breaks coming through from Wisniewski as well, and Luca D'Amelio, but Chinchik will hold it.
Yeah, he's going to have tyres looking like 50p pieces at the end of that. We're leaving those 11s on the floor into the braking zone, but Andonovski swarming all over the back of the Aston Martin in front.
Oh, he's gone wide. Chinchik went wide on Curva Grande there, and that just opened it up for Andonovski.
He managed to get the inside line to defend, look, so he's done that quite well.
Going through Della Roggia, he's got the drive in the Lesmos. The defensive driving from Chinchik is going to have to be on point. Andonovski, yeah, look at that. Andonovski saw it coming. You are going way too hot into the Lesmo, and Andonovski will make it stick.
Might be investigated for moving in braking zones and overly aggressive defending, chopping, that kind of thing, but that's for Jimmy to look at, not for me. Louis Philippe Capamajan in the BMW, leading Dennis Jordan in 6th place, and then there's Matt Richards in the Aston Martin just ahead in front, holding it there.
Capamajan has benefited massively from his pit stop. He's come up so many places from that pit stop. I'd love to have on like a time slice. Yeah, you can see just completely lost the back end there. It was coming in too hot. Knew he'd lost the position. Caught it well though, to be fair. Not to go into the gravel. Here we go. Dennis Jordan having a look. Let's see the Red Bull driver looking to improve his position in the Corvette versus the BMW. Hot on the brakes should be Dennis Jordan's to have, and it will be. He's through into 5th.
Yeah, easy comeback. Louis Philippe Capamajan into the 2nd chicane. Maybe not if he gets a bad exit of the 1st chicane. But here's Nick Wisniewski. Look at D'Amelio locking at the front tyres as Chinchik has to skip the chicane entirely as he missed that turn in. So it's the pressure's starting to get up to people. We've got 6 and a bit minutes remaining. And Simoncic in the Ferrari might be picking up his first win ever in GT Pro if it stays as is.
Yeah, it's down to a 2nd though, isn't it? Brzezinski is gaining. There's no doubt about it. He's gaining, but the question is, has he got enough time left? 6 minutes. He's going to have to put some serious hot laps in. It depends on what sort of fuel they're running as well. Whether if one's running light and he's having to lift, obviously that could cause problems. But they have had that refuel, so there should really be that. Well, of course, you want to be as fast as possibly can. This is just a slow-mo of Chinchik getting some serious spin on the brakes.
That's
full front lock, yeah. That's
why he had to skip the chicane there. Dennis Jordan leading this train of Kappa Majan, and then his teammate Alex Siebel, then Stoltz and Rocek in behind them. Stalin Rocek is catching right up to the Corvette in front, so it's Corvette on Corvette. So let's see who's got the slippery car. Oh, this is looking a bit leery.
Oh, Andonovski's lost, 1, 2, 3 places there. So don't know what's happened with Andonovski. I was talking about, are they having to lift? I think he maybe just made a serious error coming into the Parabolica. Either way, he's lost a lot of places. Michi Hoyer just up behind him. Nikita Wisniewski in front as well. If that's Wisniewski, Chinchik's got past there. So something's happened with Wisniewski and Luca D'Amelio, perhaps, because that was a big gap between those two. So something's definitely happened on that lap as they go hard on the brakes into the chicane. Varianti has collected many players so far, races throughout this one. I've seen the two Sancho drivers as well battling further down the field with, I think there's Peo Pev slotted in between them.
Yeah, so we've got battling at least up and down the order, so it's a brilliant first evening of racing in GT Pro for season 4. Yep, here we go. Move into the chicane maybe, but oh wow,
this is the front. This is the front. That's what I was about to say. By the way, it's down to 0.2 seconds.
He's made a mistake. He's got to have done.
Within 2 minutes to gain over 0.8 seconds in within a lap. Yeah, definitely. Let's see if he can do it then. The Williams Esports man, Brzezinski, trying to see if he can get Yerny Simicic and the Ferrari here. Oof. Look at that coming into the Parabolica. Has he carried too much speed maybe? We'll see. He's going to have the slipstream, of course, as he goes down into Rettifilo. And this is going to be testing times for the defensive driver and Yerny Simicic for what is going to be 2 more laps, I would say, as they go over the line.
Yeah, 2 more laps to go. So this lap and 1 more, but
easy.
It's straight through. Not even bothering to fight that. So Simicic might try and use Brzezinski's slipstream to stay close, but if that Corvette is that quick, then that Ferrari's got no chance. So maybe not a Ferrari win on home turf tonight.
Well, a Burst Esports driver further down the field. Michi Hoyer puts the move onto Nikita Wisniewski. Andonovski up behind them as well. Michi Hoyer making it work. Andonovski trying to follow through. The 2 Ferraris picking the pocket of that Porsche, it seems. Nikita Wisniewski, who was the pole sitter, struggling down in 15th right now. Andonovski, is he going to send it? No. Michi Hoyer having to go defensive though, and Wisniewski bites back.
Bit of contact into the chicane, but can Andonovski get the power down? He looks like he's got the better exit compared to Wisniewski's Porsche, trying to look to the outside of Curva Grande, so he's got the inside line for the second chicane, but Wisniewski's just managed to cover him off for now. But here comes a Sancho car into the fray.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to the... I just keep my eye on what goes on here. I was just thinking back to the, obviously, Simicic, Brzezinski situation. If you think of it, obviously, Simicic gained all that time earlier on. This is Luca D'Amelio and Wisniewski, so we're seeing why Wisniewski was so far back. So he just had a toe on the gravel. Andonovski comes through and bang, off you go. They both go off into the gravel. And, I mean, if Wisniewski was on the outside there, he was sent very much into the gravel.
Let him through.
Yeah, well, he was trying to let him through, and he's ended up letting 3 through. Yeah.
So good sportsmanship from Andonovski. Cutting back to the live feed, we've just got under 2 minutes remaining, so the next lap will be the final lap. Then Wisniewski chasing down Michi Hoyer here for 14th position, while up ahead, that's Luca D'Amelio having a sniff at Kevin Ciggy.
Yeah, I'm seeing Alex Siebel and so Capimagin up behind Alex Siebel as well, 6th and 7th at the moment. So they are battling for position, it seems. Obviously, with the Red Bull driver, HM Engineering, Capimagin gained a lot of time there. Someone just running the bits. Is that a splash and dash? Chinchik? No, I think he's done. Or is it a splash and dash? We'll see. I mean, he's going to lose all the places if it is. Luca D'Amelio sending it on Kevin Ciggy. Man, he has gone rocketing through once again. That's twice he's actually made it work there. Luca D'Amelio from BHK Esports, by the way, started quite far down the grid, if I'm not mistaken, has gained so many places here.
Yeah, but it looks like Kevin Ciggy's going to try and come back, and anything you can do, I can do better. Maybe not. Not late enough on the brakes, or brave enough on the brakes, as the case may be. Luca D'Amelio just outside the top 10 now. He's got half a lap to catch up to the guy in front. And here's the replay of D'Amelio on the brakes into turn 1. Slams on the anchors just before the 100-metre board, locks up 1 or 2 wheels, and that's a great move into the first chicane.
Yeah, very delicate on the brakes as well. You could obviously see the what he was giving it, sort of half braking it, essentially trying to roll it in there as much as he could. Dennis Jordan put a pressure on Matt Richards here. What's the fuel situation of these cars at the moment? Because here comes Jakub Brzezinski over the line. The first winner, no! He's got 10 seconds to go and he's going to go over the line. It will be another lap, yes. Okay, so what does that open up situations? Well, Dennis Jordan and Matt Richards, there is a chance for a position for Dennis Jordan, the driver that came second, I believe it was, in the championships in GT Pro Season 3, wants to get as many points on the board here, chasing down the Rocket Sim Sport GT Challenge champion.
Yeah, Matt Richards is going to have to get defensive. Dennis Jordan might have a good run into turn 1. He's going to have the outside line for turn 1, which will become the inside for turn 2. Richards locks up ever so slightly.
Rocek's just done Capomaggione in behind them as well. You just saw him taking him down the straight as well. So great move from him. He moves up into 7th.
Yeah, Dennis Jordan's probably going to have this into the second chicane. Maybe Richards gives him just enough room.
Forces him as wide as he can.
He's going to try and cut back to the inside, but still trying to make that Aston Martin as wide as possible.
Very nice.
Tiny bit of grass cuttage on the outside for the second chicane. That's not going to happen in a million years, is it? Is it not? Maybe it will. Oh, it is going to happen. Okay. Always cut the chicane. He's got to give that back.
He's going to give it back. He's give it back, and now he's got 1 lap or half a lap even to try and regain that position, because obviously time is up. This is Rocek just blasting past.
Battered.
Yeah. That was the Luis Felipe Capomaggione HM Engineering being passed with ease. Dennis Jordan now, his best chance has got to be into the parabolic. He's got to try and force an error on Matt Richards. That's what he's going to be looking for. He's coming into Ascari now. Not too sure he wants to try and make it work here. I think probably better on the exit. He's definitely going wide, but Matt Richards went as wide as he dared. That's for sure, as you hear Aiden
pushing the limits of the rule book.
But
don't want to see a crash this late in the race. Matt Richards is on the outside.
Brzezinski
now,
over the line.
Yep, Brzezinski will take the first feature race win in GT Pro. But let's see what happens between Matt Richards and Dennis Jordan into the final corner, entering parabolic. And now this is going to be the almightiest drag race. America versus Britain. Well, Canadian-owned British mark towards the line. And Matt Richards is just going to snag 4th at the death.
Oof. So what a fantastic race we've had. Rocek looks like he's managed to steal self. Casper Stoltz. Stoltz just got into 9th place there. I saw him just move up on Luca D'Amelio, I think it was. As they try and battle it out. You can see side by side Castorp and Ciggy. 11th for Castorp. Will he go over the line? Yes, he will. Wins the drag race there. The 2 Porsches of Butler Powell down in 17th and 18th of Shara and Peo Pev. What a race we've had here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not done yet. Ibrahim Khan down in 21st in the end after being sent packing, of course. Chinchik's just had enough. He's going in the pits. It's just
finishing in the pit lane like Michael Schumacher did that one time. Maybe taking fuel and tyres right at the end, but he's just pulled over and had enough. So your winner, Jakub Brzezinski for Williams Esports from Jerne Simičić, who will have to continue the wait for his first win in GT Pro. Yuri Toman in 3rd, Matt Richards 4th, then the Red Bulls of Jordan and Siebel. David Rocek in 7th, as horns are being sounded around in my ears because I've got the game up and listening to all the sound through that. Capomaggione in 8th, Stoltz in 9th, and Luca D'Amelio takes the final place in the top 10.
Just as I was about to say, just before you cut away, could you show the positions gained? Because I know Luca D'Amelio made a lot of places up there. Jakub Brzezinski, though, the first main race winner. There we go. Here we go. We're going to get it quickly. There you go. Look at that. Luca D'Amelio gaining 13 places. Alex Siebel gaining 18 places. The Red Bull Esports driver finished 3rd in the championship last season as well in the GT Season 3. Incredible stuff. Jakub Brzezinski, though, the first winner here at Monza in the main race. Congratulations to him. Jonas Rovio from Burst Esports in second place. Yuri Toman Varga Sim Racing in third. That rolls out the podium. Matt Richards, a great turn up for him. The GT Challenge champion for Rocket Sim Sport gets himself fourth place. Dennis Jordan and Alex Seaborn for Red Bull coming out in fifth and sixth. That position given back actually to Dennis Jordan at one point by Seaborn. Rocek, Burst Esports, regained. I think it was fourth in qualifying, so got himself back into the points there in nice style there in seventh place. Luis Felipe Capamagian making so many places as well. Eighth place for him for the HM Engineering. Casper Stoltz, John Lacey Esports in ninth. Luca D'Amelio gaining 13 places from 23rd up into 10th. Fantastic drive for him. Yuri Kastorp in the end going out in 11th position. Kevin Ciggy falling down from third on the grid. He started in the main race down to 12th. Trying to defend as best he can in the BMW team red line. Michi Hoyer regaining positions, by the way. He gained a fair few up into 13th position. Antonovsky in the end down in 14th. Very Stanley for Zancho in 15th. Jonas Rovio also gaining quite a few positions. If you remember, he started 29th on the back of the grid. He finishes out in 16th for BS competition. Then, of course, the Butler Powell Motorsport Porsches in 17th and 18th of Shiara and Teo Pev. Nikolai Wisniewski, who was our pole sitter for the sprint race, had a disaster in the sprint race. Started out in 10th in the main race, ends up in 19th. Not a race for him to remember despite that pole position. And Jon van der Heide from 28 up into 20th. That 20 kilograms, it seems, just a little too much for the Aston here at Monza. Are we going to get to see the back, or is it all DNFs? There we go. Finally, Nuno Pinto, Team Fordzilla. What happened to him? He got sent packing. Ibrahim Khan had an off as well. 10 kilograms for that. Aston was running well until he ended up getting sliced off the track. Him and Chinchik both were bundled off there, along with Presti Martona. He was sent capping. Risto Capit, possibly the man that started it off. He obviously came out without a rear wing. Not a lot he could do as he went off the circuit there in the end. Sidovaya rolling out the grid in 25th position. Interesting first race at Monza, I think it's safe to say, Aidan. A sprint race to forget, I think, is certainly not for some, but certainly for others. But the main race delivered.
Yeah, the first race was a little bit embarrassing, considering it's supposed to be the top racers in rFactor 2, but sometimes contact happens and people get speared off. But the second race was brilliant action for the whole 45 minutes, which is what we want to see. We want to see all the cars involved. We had so many different brands represented in the top 10, top 15, so all good stuff. Just got to wait for the next round to see if we get more of that, and hopefully this isn't just a one-off. So we've got Sebring, the bumps of the old US Army airfield, on 23rd of August. So we'll get to see some great racing there as well, I hope.
It's a track that always delivers as well. And, a shout out to the new drivers that came up from GT Challenge. Yuri Terman obviously picking up the win in the sprint race. Yes, by hook or by crook, he was definitely up there in terms of qualifying, and obviously carrying himself a third place or a fourth place. Third place, wasn't it, in the main race. And of course, Matt Richards, the GT Challenge champion, getting himself that fourth position. So great to see drivers being promoted and delivering as they come up here. We saw it obviously in previous times with Michi Hoyer, etc. So it's great to see these drivers. Obviously, it's not always the same names in there. They get challenged, and some of the old guard do get indeed put under pressure. But what a fantastic race we've had, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to obviously all the sponsors involved to bring the GT Pro Series to you guys. Thank you very much, obviously, to Ruben out the back, and obviously the race stewards that are going to have a lot of work to do right now as we'll finish off here. As you can see, the next race, round 2, the 23rd of August. For Sebring. For the GT Challenge, I believe that is coming on the 13th of August. That will be Friday. So get yourself involved in that one if you want to see, obviously, who is going to be up and coming for the GT Challenge. And then, of course, we're going to be going into the Formula Pro, which will be back on the 16th of August as well. And I should give a shout out for Aidan, who's going to be driving on the 20th of August, I guess, in the Formula Challenge. Got himself a little 10th place earlier on. So we'll see. Keep our eye on our very own Aiden to see if he can deliver there. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to Aiden as well. We will see you next time here on the GT Pro at Sebring on the 23rd of August.